This live stream is presented to you by MaxSpeed TV. All live streaming content that is presented in this telecast is owned by MaxSpeed TV, Rudy Cummings, and the entire crew of MSTV. This may not be rebroadcasted, retransmitted, and retelevised without written consent. Please enjoy today's broadcast. iSCAR RaceLab's Cup Series presents to you round number 20, the finale race here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Gonna crown an iSCAR Cup Series champion for the second time here tonight at this very racetrack. And what a way to cap it off for 200 miles going into the books. Hopefully a bit overtime. Hopefully not. Who knows how it'll all turn out, but regardless, we're gonna crown a champion after 134 laps of racing.
Indeed, we are. For Ezeckiel Reyes, I'm Dewey Schramm. Welcome back here for the second leg of the three finale races we've got in store for you this weekend. Last night in the truck race, Christopher Weil picked up the championship after being up there in the points all season. And as we get ourselves into the Cup points, that 41, he's also in contention for the championship tonight. So we got a chance here that we could potentially see somebody go back-to-back in championships on the same weekend. But before we get a bit too ambitious about that, we've got to take a look and see who the other three that are going to go up against that 41. And they consist of Nick Miller, who was also a contender last night, Parker White in the 095, and Cole Williams in the 42. So four really, really strong drivers that are going to be duking it out here over these next 200 miles. And I'm really curious to see which one of these guys can survive all the trouble they'll probably plague this race, or at least be a part of this race, and see who comes out on top.
Yep, that's right. Man, Parker got close to winning it last night. Came short to Dylan Basin in the 08, but if Parker is as good as what he was last just yesterday, man, expect that 095 to be running toward that front.
I think Parker is going to be a force to be reckoned with tonight. You just mentioned how strong he was last night. And for Chris, he was totally fine with him running ahead of him since he was ahead of all the title contenders. But Chris cannot let that 095 in front of him this time around, because this time he is one of the four contenders. And Nick Miller, we saw the heartbreak for him last night, got taken out around lap 28 or so in that front stretch wreck. We'll see if he can rebound tonight and hopefully at least finish the race, if not maybe get the title.
I'll have to see on how it'll all turn out, but in the meantime with that, we'll go ahead and pull in all of our final four contenders into the booth. Of course, here for tonight, Parker White, who currently leads the standings as of right now. We'll go ahead and drag over to the booth here in just a moment, but let's go over race analysis here on the bottom right. 50 miles per hour is going to be the pit road speed. 5 tire sets, and fuel should be, I think, 52 to 57. I'm not sure if you could stretch it past 60. If you can, it should be like 62-ish. I'll have to talk to a couple of drivers about it, though.
Yeah, it should be interesting, of course, without a doubt. And more tire sets than last night as well, and the afternoon to evening setting time. So just like last night, this will be a daytime start and a nighttime finish. And again, that fuel window is going to be key as this race goes on. So it'll definitely be an interesting one for sure. And before we get ourselves any further, let's get these four guys in here and see what they got to say about their chance tonight.
And we'll go ahead and drag in the man who leads the standings. So right now into the booth goes Parker White, and the 095 came home second to Dylan Basin just yesterday, but Parker here tonight again, this time under different circumstances. How are you going to fare up here tonight against these other three drivers?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to try to use my experience at this track, because I've run this track just so many times, and I've really seen it to be my best track on iRacing. But I'm not really sure how I'll be here tonight in the Cup cars. Like, I put in a little practice, and I feel pretty good about the car. Like I really like how the setup handles. Like if you ask me, I feel like almost every car you run here at Homestead drives the same, but just the on throttle and off throttle times are different. So I'm gonna try to use that to my advantage because I really feel like one thing that I do good here is kind of hooking that seam on the bottom. So I'm probably just gonna try to do my best and keep my momentum up through the corners because I feel like I also do that pretty well. But now, like with the new package with the dirty air and stuff, I'm gonna have to also have that in effect here. So I might have to try to run the top too, and I really hope that works because that'd be so much fun if we could like get the wall working, and we could have people running the bottom too, and like get runs off the top and stuff. But with only 3 other drivers that I'm gonna be worrying about in the field tonight, I think we'll have a pretty good shot at it because last night I wasn't even in the championship four, and if I was in the championship four, then I probably would have won that race, at least for the championship. So I'll probably just do what I did last night and just try to have fun with it, and I think that should give us a pretty good result.
All right, about 10 for the 095 Parker White currently sits on top of the board. Gonna log in hopefully 134 laps to come out as the second iSCAR Cup Series champion. We'll go ahead and see come to post race, and good luck for tonight.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I expect this 095. He's in my opinion, out of the 4 drivers here tonight, he is the driver to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I think he comes into tonight as the favorite without a doubt. With how strong he's been in the back half of this season, and of course with how good of a run he had last night, definitely going to be one of the top dogs here in this fight. We'll drag in our Truck Series champion from last night, Christopher Law, to the booth. Hey, Chris, got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, you went out there, you finished 3rd last night, and you won the Truck Series championship. But you mentioned last night in your post-race interview that you thought, Parker and Cole might be a bit better than you here in these Cup cars at Homestead. So what are you going to have to do to try to get yourself in front of them and go back-to-back here?
Yeah, I really just have to kind of hope things play out like last night. I got to keep myself clean, try to keep myself up front the whole race, make sure I get the strategy right. But during the first run, I'm going to kind of just do my regular thing, push, see how the tires wear out during that first run, and see if Parker and Cole save tires and see which strategy seems to work best. Depending on how that shakes out, then I'll switch it up. And if saving tires is better, then I'll try to follow one of them and save with them and see if I can just be there at the end. So far, I mean, the 3 of us are top 3 in practice. Nick Miller is a little bit down there, but I have no doubt Nick's going to find his way to the front of this thing by the end.
Yeah, and you mentioned last night as well that you didn't think you were saving tires as much either. So do you think if it comes to, you might try to throw a different strategy out there that maybe they aren't going to do, or just try to stick with what you're going with now and just hope it works?
If it looks like I have a good chance to win just doing the standard thing, I'll definitely try sticking to that. But if I feel like I have absolutely no shot following what Parker and Cole do, then I'll definitely try to do something else if the opportunity presents itself.
Should be interesting nonetheless. Christopher Weil here, Truck Series champ from last night, going for icing on the cake tonight here in the Cup race. Hope to see you back here post-race, and good luck tonight.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see what happens.
Let's get ourselves back 1 position to number 42. Cole Williams currently sits 3rd on the standings as of right now. Cole, seems as though 3 of the 4 playoff drivers are fairly fast here tonight. Both of you, you included, top 3 in the practice as of right now. Cole, what are you going to have to do to finish in front of your competitors?
It's going to qualify well. It's going to be our first thing. We got to get out there and put a good lap down. Then from there, it's just going to be executing. I don't expect, a flag to flag race. We got like 35 people here. Obviously, everyone wanted to show up at the final week of the iSCAR season. So just going to need to play a strategy right from there once we get the cautions. We go green, we got to execute the green flag pit stops. It's going to be key. I already got strategy and all that, ready to go. So, put in a lot of time to be fast, especially in the A car, because I feel like that's going to be probably the most difficult one, just because of how the dirty air and stuff works. So we're just going to have to, do some dirty air dodging, and then from there, just going to have to qualify well and execute on pit road, and hopefully get some good energy with some good stops tonight. And just take it as a normal race and try to have fun. And as we look to next week, or not next week, tomorrow, take the Xfinity Helm Championship. We take that helm too. So, we're just gonna give it our all, and some of the best people on here racing against. So, everyone will race clean, race hard, and hopefully can come out on top. Hopefully get some green runs. I feel like we'll be really fast once we get there. So, I should be able to improve my time that I have in practice right now. Obviously, practice is a bunch of people on the way, so let's have to see what we can do, and how to try to bring it home for you and me to race.
Alright, about time for Cole Williams in the number 42. Currently sits third in the standings as of right now. Go ahead and give yourself a bit of good luck here for tonight. 134 laps going to be logged into the books. Good luck, Cole.
Thank you, man.
And we'll drag in the last of our 4 title contenders here, the 95 of Nick Miller. Nick, got a copy?
Yeah.
And unfortunately for you, you had that heartbreaking wreck early on in the race last night that took you out of the Truck Series contention, but you have another shot here tonight to go after a title. So how are you going to approach tonight's race to make sure you can stay out of the trouble that kind of did you in last night?
The wall. Yeah. That's about it. Looking at the times right now, and every single Final Four driver is in the top 3 except for me. So that tells us anything. It tells us that I'm currently dog water. So we're just gonna go in with a Hail Mary, kind of like Ohio just did with Virginia, and hope it works.
Yeah, we'll see if there's a March Madness upset here in the Cup Series as well as the NCAA tournament, but should be exciting for you nonetheless. And, we just asked Chris about potential strategies. If you think you might be in a bad position or not as good of a position later on in the race, you think you might try a different strategy and hope it sticks, or just try to stick with what you're going with now?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, honestly, I need Malachi Drake. He's the strategy god, and I need him in here for my crew chief, but I think he's busy tonight. Or he might be in the race, I'm not really sure, but if I see Malachi do something under caution, I'm probably following him down.
Yeah, Malachi definitely one of those to take notes after and modify how you race around, but we'll see if you do that tonight, and we'll see how you turn yourself out here in terms of this race. And good luck tonight, and for you, hopefully win the title.
Yep, thank you.
So a theme I'm picking up on here so far, dirty air from the new build. Heard Parker and Cole both mention that, something that these guys really haven't mentioned or had to experience as much at a track like Homestead as they are since the new build came out. So that's going to really be interesting to see how these cars drive around each other come race time with that and other things that have just been implemented.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, with bigger spoiler, it creates very much turbulent air, and as well as the new updates that have been implemented. It allows for wider racing, so you're going to have not only just the bottom, but now the top being used as well. So I'm going to be... I'm interested to see on how these people are going to attack the racetrack, and with this dirty air effect, how these drivers are going to try to dodge it as Hunter Johnson spins for Ken Yo 95. But it should be interesting to see on how these drivers are going to try to interpret and dodge the invisible enemy, basically.
Yeah, and if they haven't done it yet, they're pretty much out of time to, as we have concluded the practice session here tonight. Parker White, Christopher Weil, Cole Williams, 3 of our title contenders, 1, 2, 3 on the time charts. We know those 3 are going to have a lot of speed tonight. We'll see if Nick can join them up there. But we'll scoot ourselves off to the side here just for a moment to play the national anthem for the final time here in this Cup Series season. So we'll be back here in just a couple of moments as we salute our nation's colors.
And we welcome everybody back here live for the for tonight's iSCAR finale. Round number 20, gonna go into the books as we log in 134 laps of racing. Currently qualifying underway as of right now. Drivers taking the fastest 2 laps around the racetrack. Currently watching Nick Roten work himself through as he tries not to spin it, but...
Whew. It's gonna hurt him in the lap time. That lap was still faster than his first one, even though he just about spun it there. It was a good save for the 120, but that tells me this might be a bit of a loose setup tonight. At least based off of that. Mitch Hobbs currently fastest on the charts, and just as I say that, Christopher Weil bests him by about 2/100ths of a second. So we saw him on top of the board in practice, and now on top of the board in qualifying. Parker White was first in practice, currently sits third in this qualifying. Cole Williams currently in 7th, and Nick Miller, I don't know if he's taken a lap just yet. Cole improves his time by a lot, jumps from 7th now up into 2nd. So for the time being, we've got a Final Four contender front row.
Yeah, Parker White currently sits a row back in 4th place, so... Miller, he's the only driver out of the Final Four who's yet to log in a lap. Work himself to the front straightaway, and all eyes on him to maybe best that number 41, Christopher Weil, as he works himself into 1. And
looks like he's diamonding the corner a bit. Kind of entering a bit lower, exiting a bit higher, and woo, big wiggle there out of turn 2. That's going to cost him probably a couple tenths down the backstretch. He'll have another lap, of course, to try to improve on that, but you don't want to do that too many times. As, of course, you know, incident penalties will have your time disallowed during qualifying, because you don't want to spin out or hit the wall or anything like that. And that wiggle off the backstretch, indeed, he's going to qualify. That's going to put him 9th, or actually 20th. So he needs to have a better lap here. And we'll see if he has more trouble out of 2 again.
Smooth corner.
So he's clean this time. So he needs to get, looks like, 0.6 of a second if he wants to qualify in front of Weil. And needs to pick up around 2 to get himself into the top 5, or top 10. And this is going to put him in 9th. So not too bad. I think it's roughly where he started last night. So not necessarily in the top 5, but 9th out of a field of this size is not too shabby either. And speaking of the field size, it's another bigger one like we had last night, and we had pretty low car counts throughout the chase compared to what we saw during the regular season. But now for the finale at Homestead, a lot more people are deciding to show up and come back again. So that means there's more people these guys are going to have to navigate with. And with the payout for the race winner, just like there was last night, the battles between those non-chasers are going to be fierce.
Yeah, man. Who knows? We might see what we saw last season. I mean, not last season, but just yesterday, in which Dylan Basin, a non-playoff driver, won the race. And
there you go. Checkered flag for qualifying. Weil's the pole winner.
Man,
we got a 1-2 for, the 1-2 starting order for the championship 4, as Weil and Williams will start this race from the front row. So go over race analysis again one more time. 1.5 miles in length is Homestead-Miami Speedway here in Southern Florida. Time of day, afternoon to evening. So again, roughly sunset start, will end at night. 50 miles an hour is the pit road speed here for tonight. 5 tire sets over these 134 laps. And a fuel window estimated to be about 52 to 57, give or take probably 5 or so laps there. Of course, it is an estimation after all. So given what we have right there, should be a 2-stop race fuel-wise. But if we have a couple of cautions scattered throughout this race, I would expect these drivers to come down and use those extra tire sets.
We'll see, though, how it'll all turn out. See the weather again on the bottom right. Track temp 83, ambient temperature at 80, so a couple degrees difference. So we should see the track cool down just by a bit. course, haven't been to Homestead-Miami Speedway, 1.5 mile racetrack. The banking is progressive. Higher you go, the more banking there is, and just what allows Homestead to be so wide and multi-groove. 134 laps and 200 miles in length. The last winner, just last week, Hunter Johnson in that number 12.
Yeah, Hunter with a win in convincing fashion in last week's race, and they mentioned that progressive banking. It allows those guys to rip the top if they want to, and with the new build put in, we saw people all over the place in last night's race, especially off of restarts, so I would expect a repeat of that here tonight. So with just under 3 minutes left here in the warm-up, only a couple minutes left to get some last-minute things squared away. You know, if you maybe don't like how your car is running or something, or if you don't think you might have a line nailed down, might want to spend these last couple minutes trying to get that adjusted before the race starts. Because, you know, you literally don't have any more time than this, and with this being the last race of the season, I mean, there is no more. There's always next week.
Yeah, that's right. Final week of iSCAR. Of course, you have one more chance tomorrow. But, of course, if you're a playoff contender, this is your shot. This is your final time to get whatever you can. I mean, $100 on the line here for tonight. It's not like a small payout we're handing out. We're handing out triple digits, and it's the highest iSCAR payout we've ever handed out.
Yeah, $100, of course, to the champion. I'm not sure what the payout is for the race winner tonight.
$10.
But okay, so 110 total in prize money, though. So I mean, if a title contender wins the race, I mean, there's $110. So
yeah, there you go.
You know, nothing to snooze at. So should definitely be an interesting one. And again, like we saw last night, all the battling we saw between the non-chasers trying to get themselves up to the lead. You know, that battle between Basin and Parker White over those last 15, 20 laps. I guarantee you we'll probably see a double burnout again tonight. I honestly don't think a Final Four contender is going to win tonight, just like last night, because of how fierce those non-chaser battles are going to be. I think some of those guys might try to take it a bit easy earlier on and just see how it all plays out.
Yeah, again, it comes down to playoff mentality versus non-playoff mentality. As a non-playoff driver, you're coming in here tonight to win, and maybe to get a bit of championship standings, get yourself up in championship standings. But in terms of non-playoff drivers, win will get you $10. So, how do you want to race the non-playoff drivers if they're sitting 1 and 2? So. That's going to be a question. Are those non-playoff drivers going to throw it all in to try to get that win? And how are those playoff drivers, those Final Four contenders, going to interpret that as they race with non-contenders?
Yeah, I think the most interesting dynamic to me is, you just mentioned it, how those Final Four guys are going to potentially see a battle between non-chasers and think, man, should I stay up here and try to go for the lead, or should I back it off a little bit and let them duke it out? We kind of saw that with Weil last night, where, you know, once he got passed by Basin and Parker White, he just kind of let him go and just eased it to the end to win the championship. But, you know, we could see a situation where maybe there's a wreck up front between non-chasers that wipes someone out. I mean, there's any number of things that could happen, but regardless, all the hard work, all the dedication over these first 19 races, it all culminates here tonight at Homestead for the final 134 laps of the season. And leading us to the green flag here tonight will be 2 of our 4 title contenders, Christopher Weil in the 41 and Cole Williams in the 42.
Row number 2 going to go ahead and consist of Mitch Hobbs in number 89. Had a nice run before he got wrecked out. 095, Parker White, another Final Four contender. He's going to be starting in 4th.
Row 3, Hunter Johnson in the 12, one of our title contenders in tomorrow night's race, and Michael Rosero in the 23.
Row number 4, number 61, Hunter Rupp. He was flipping on the front straightaway just yesterday. Hopefully he'll have a better run and keep it on all 4. And Blaze McKinney making a return here tonight.
And rounding up the top 10, our 4th and final title contender, Nick Miller, in the 95, hoping for better fortunes than he had last night, and Trey Shuttlesworth in the 119.
Rest of the order is going to be shown on your screen. Find your favorite driver, and hopefully they'll win it here for tonight. And there's a bunch of entries here for this one. Of course, final iSCAR race of the season is going to be attracting a big crowd, and it should be fun to see 134 laps of racing go into the books here on round number 20. And man, it all comes down to this.
There's Malachi and William. They were both in the Final Four last night. Both came up short to Chris, though. And as the order continues to scroll on through, 36 drivers will take the green flag tonight. I think we had 38 or 39 last night. So another hefty field here for a series finale. And again, like I mentioned earlier, we had pretty low car counts throughout the chase after having 40 plus consistently throughout the season. But here tonight, some guys just trying to throw their hat in the ring for one last time this season. So I think more drivers that these Final Four guys are going to have to be mindful of and race around.
Yep, that is right. You saw your Final Four contenders there. They're going to be the four to watch as we work themselves off of turn number 4. 134 laps, 200 miles about to go into the books. $100 going to be handed out as well. Nails the throttle. Wrap it away here at Homestead for the final iSCAR race of the season.
Already a bit of scrambling here towards 10th place or so as they go 3 wide into turn 1 on the first lap of the race. Cole in the 42 trying to make the high side work. And look at McKinney in the 15 trying to make up some spots on that high side already. Wasting no time at all, working his way up there, trying to take some spots away. And indeed he does. Already up to P4 into turn 3.
Look at them. They're spread out, but side by side with the championship battle. Hobbs washes up the racetrack. Parker White goes around!
And in contact with Andy McDowell is going to put the 20 hard on the wall. And one of our championship 4 gets hit again by the 54. And one of our title contenders already with a lot of rear end damage on just the first lap of the race. And this is going to set him back quite a bit. And you see front end damage as well on that 095 machine. And that is exactly what no one wanted to see happen with a wreck like this happening so early on.
Oh my gosh, this is
Man.
disastrous.
Left
That's
side
the
damage
last
as
thing you
well.
want to see.
There's damage all over the place on that car, front, left, and rear. So going to be some hefty repairs for him. We'll get a look and see what happened. And looks like Hunter just got loose off the bottom, and I think there might have been a bit of net code there, perhaps as well. And Parker's trying to gather it up and end up getting into Andy. Still gathering it up, and more contact with the 54 of Luca Faro. Another car down, and now that's Andy again. See if anybody else got significant damage from this, but I think Parker definitely got the worst of it. And you see all the whole field scrambling out of 4. There's Andy with the contact, and I think those 3, LaFaro, White, and Andy, might be the only 3 that suffered damage. But again, the 095 definitely getting the worst of that whole exchange.
Yeah, Hunter tagged the apron, washed right into the 095.
Oh.
And Andy really nowhere to go. I don't think if Andy was there, Parker wouldn't have gotten hit, but...
Yeah, I think he had it gathered up. His one car takes evasive measures down onto pit road, but... Oh, man. Definitely, again, not the thing you wanted to see happen. And I think Andy's night might be over here already. As Parker still is currently being scored in 12th, but, you know, he's going to have, I would assume, a pretty lengthy repair. All that damage he's got. Just a tough break all around. I mean, I thought he was going to have a really, really good night tonight and be up there for the title all night, but he's going to be behind the 8 ball here for pretty much the entire race now. As they're going to get the 1 to green already. A quick yellow here as Cole and Chris swapped spots there. Cole got by 41 before the yellow came out. And looks like Parker's actually going to stay out, so I think with this being a quick yellow, he didn't actually have time to come down pit road and get that repaired. So we'll see if he ends up losing a lot of track position off the restart. But, you know, when you look at his car and you look at all the other ones, pretty significant damage to his car.
Damn, man, that's...
Yeah. That's never the way you want a race like this to start off.
And it's like so early. It's lap 4 out of 134.
I mean, it was on lap 1 that the wreck happened, but we're sitting here on lap 4 ready to go back green again as Cole, Chris, Mitch, and Blaze McKinney top 4. Blaze made up quite a few spots on the high side in that first lap, and Micah Rosero will round out the top 5 here for the first restart of the night. Pace car gets itself down onto pit road. Cole hits the throttle, and we are back underway here on lap number 5. And you see Parker White, he's already starting to fall through the field. That damage, he's definitely down on RPMs for sure. And he still needs to get that car on pit road at some point to get repairs done. Just unable to do so with that quick caution.
Cole Williams will pull by multiple car lengths over the 41 of Wow, who works himself around the 15 of Blaze McKinney. McKinney making one of his select few starts here tonight. And he's already worked himself in the second, trying to get him for those $10 here for tonight. He's worked himself off of 4.
That 15 is going to be one to watch here in tonight's race. Already from 8th to 2nd in just 2 green flag laps. So definitely one to watch as he's going to fling it up high once again and see if we can get around race leader and championship leader Cole Williams in the 42. And there's Mitch Hobbs. We saw him running that high side early in the race last night before getting caught up in a handful of incidents, using it to his advantage once again, now up into 3rd place.
And for the lead, here comes McKinney up on the high side. He's going to challenge for that top spot. Loose off of 4.
Whoa.
Wiggles just a bit. He's going to lose a bit of time. We'll see if Mitch Hobbs, and looks like that's Michael Rosero in the number 23. We'll see on how they're going to scoot themselves back to the 2nd spot. But up front, though, still a hard-charging Blaze McKinney trying to work himself around Cole Williams.
And he's loose again in the middle of the turn. Still trying to gather it up. And this is going to allow Mitch and Rosero to have a run. There goes the 89 at the bottom. And the 23 will follow right behind. And they will both get by the 15. So we know that 15 is strong up high, but looks like he's too loose to run the bottom right now. As Wiles catching him now as well. And that would be for 4th place if he gets by him. Side by side for 2nd as well.
All right, man.
Rosero just followed Mitch into turn 3, but the caution has come up for the 2nd time tonight. And Parker White is around again. And I think he might have just hit the pit barrels, but we'll get a look at it. But a bad night gone even worse for that 095. And, oh, there was trouble ahead of him. He got caught up in something else here. So somebody was around in front of him. Looks like Max Urich hit the wall and spun out. And Parker hit the wall trying to miss him. Just missed the barrels by a couple of feet. So the 6 is spinning down the track. I think Parker went up high to miss him, and I think that's the 34 of Clappert also getting a piece of this. See what happened to the 6 here.
Rick.
Oh, I think it was a reactionary move to Bachman. I think Bachman moved up because he saw how loose Nick Roten was in the bottom, and when he did so, he ended up getting into that 6 and hit the wall and spun him out. Now here's Clapper going up high to miss him, and didn't know Parker was going to be there, of course. Parker coming in at a much higher rate of speed than the 34 was at that point. Just wrong place, wrong time with 2 guys trying to miss a 3rd one. And it's just gotten even worse now for Parker White. And as Blaze hits pit road from 4th place, we'll see if anybody else joins him down there. But man, what a rough way to start off a race for Parker White. Had such a strong season, and it's just all crumbling in this final race.
That's right. I mean, oh my gosh. It's so heartbreaking to see that. It's Parker, he's won 4 times in the Cup Series. He knew he was a favorite coming in here for tonight. He was the fastest in practice. For that to be dashed.
And you could tell how confident he was too before the race when we were talking to him. He knew he had a good setup going. And we knew he was going to be strong tonight. He knew he was going to be strong tonight. But didn't even make it 1 green flag lap before getting into some trouble. And it's just one of those deals sometimes where it's just tough luck, unfortunately. Not really no other way to put it besides that. And with this damage now on top of what he already had, I mean, he's without a doubt going to be behind RPM now for most of the night. And it's going to take something absolutely catastrophic to the rest of our championship contenders if that 095 is going to walk away with the title. But the odds definitely stacked against him now.
Everybody looks like from 18th on back have hit pit road. So we're going to restart with a contender in 1st, 4th, 19th, and all the way in, looks like 32nd. So Parker does not go a lap down in this exchange, but some more damage onto his machine is definitely going to hinder him a lot.
With that amount of damage, it wouldn't surprise me if that's a deal where the engine might expire mid-race. I mean, that the front end's really kicked in on that 095. So I think at this point, it might be one of those deals where he just might run it until it blows, and once it blows, it's over. So hopefully it's not that bad, but judging off of looks, it ain't looking that good. And you know, that's the risk with a format like this. Of course, when you go into the Final Four with everybody having equal footing, obviously it's going to create excitement when the champion is just going to be who finishes ahead of the other three. But for somebody like Parker, who was so good all season, you know, this format, it kind of takes away the advantage he kind of built up all season. Because, you know, with all those bonus points he had, he would have come into tonight's race surely with some, you know, points over the competition. But with everybody reset coming in, you mean, like I said last night, you could win the first 19 races of the season, finish second in the last one, and not win the championship. So it's just how this format works. It can be really beneficial, but in a case like this, it can also bite you in the butt pretty hard. And for Parker White, it's pretty much taken him up before he really had a chance.
It's a shame.
I mean, it almost feels like we've created a bit of a somber mood up here, but to me it really is, because, you know, he had such a great season going, and pretty much one bad lap is taking him out of a chance to win what would have been a well-deserved and hard-earned championship. And that's not to say that the other three in this championship four don't deserve the championship, but with how strong he was all year, man, this one's gotta hurt, especially with how good he was last night in the truck race. You can tell the confidence was there, but he'll be coming home empty-handed, unfortunately. But we'll get ourselves back going here. Pace car back onto pit road. Cole hits the throttle. We're back underway here on lap 13. Bit of a stack up around 10th place, 42 clear into turn 1.
2x2 as well, sort of getting sandwiched. Hunter Johns is going to move himself to the low side, but all Cole Williams. He's yet to pick up a Cup Series win this season, but for the 42 running up front, he is where he needs to be, as Cole's racing for second place between Racero and Hobbs. Hobbs going to cross over Racero into 3.
Good move for the 89 going into turn 3 after a close call with the 23 out of corner exit last time. And out of 4, it'll be the same thing again, and I think one of them just got the wall. But they're still second and third for the time being. But here comes Wild. He'll cut down in front of the 12 of Hunter Johnson into turn 1. Try to get around this 23 and the 89, who are still right up alongside each other. And out of turn 2, the draft of those two will propel them back in front of the 41, but still sitting pretty in 4th right now.
Hobbs is right up against the barrier, trying to use as much momentum as he can to work himself up high, side by side, right behind. Hunter Johnson working himself underside for the 41, and Christopher Weil, as they now file in position, will be side by side racing right behind with, looks like Eric Heater and Trey Shuttlesworth trying to get the best of each other. Both drivers running part-time in this league, as you see AJ Bain, 14, and Michael Kenner, he too running part-time, has, big wiggle off of Aaron Brown.
Aaron Brown, one of the round of 7 drivers here in the Cup Series, unfortunately for him, was eliminated last week at Indianapolis, but still coming into to race tonight, trying to gun for that $10 winner's purse available for the winner of the race. We'll see how he fares in that regard. You mentioned Heater and Shuttlesworth a few moments ago. Heater was here last night and was up in the top 10 before a couple incidents relegated him to a not-so-great finish. Trey has had a couple good runs this season, but hasn't run in a little bit. But running in the top 10 for right now. And for the lead, Mitch Hobbs by Cole Williams. That 89 car definitely looks like one of those to beat here early on in this race.
How about that for the 89 of Mitch Hobbs? He had a nice running in the ARCA race last time we were here, and he's doing best of it as he works around the 42 of Cole Williams. See the 23 of Michael Bracero trying to follow in pursuit, but Mitch Hobbs up front leading his first laps of the night.
Yeah, and Mitch did pretty strong as well in the first part of the truck race, but hit the wall a couple times and then got involved in another incident that put him in a not so great finishing spot. But we saw what he was capable of last night, and showing it once again here in tonight's race as he'll lead his second consecutive lap here as we complete lap 17 with Bracero to the back bumper of the 42 of Cole.
Yeah, it seems as though this high side is really starting to kick in as you see Cole trying to work the bottom side, and it's Wow trying that high side as well. So maybe the 41 could follow the 89 in pursuit and pass for that second spot where he needs to be for the championship.
And we saw how good Blaze McKinney was on that opening lap up high before he got loose a few times on the bottom. He's now back up into 12th after making a pit stop on that first caution. There he is working the bottom side this time, and sees loose down there again. So that 15 definitely looks like he's really, really strong up top, but kind of can't run the bottom at all, or else he might end up spinning it. So that's going to limit what he can really do. As AJ Bain taps the wall, contact between McKinney and Schmidt, and they keep it going, but a near wreck there for those three. But McKinney will benefit the most as he's now up to 11.
They're still all over the place for this position. Look at this scramble right in the background, right behind AJ Bain, the number 8 machine. And they are down low, up high, trying to get the best of each other. That's the Camry is working himself down low. That'll be, I think, not really sure who that is. That might be the 90 of Malachi Drake. No, it's not. Looks like
it's Aaron Brown.
No, that's the 83 of Berge. Or no, it's Zachary Thornton. It is the number 35 as he works himself 3 wide off the goal.
Yeah, I think there's 2 different cars with the number 11 on it that threw me off a bit. But Mitch still leads out of 4.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's just a bit sideways as the top 10 look like they're separating a little bit, or top 6 have started to separate now. Another small pack. There's this pack that is all over each other here into one. 7 cars all under a blanket, 2x2 into the corner. AJ right up against the wall once again as Thornton and Brown side by side out of 2. So it looks like 8 cars now in this pack as the 35 tries to work his way around the 11.
Mitch Hobbs is doing one phenomenal job up on the high side. He's been the only person I've seen really make use of that wall, and now he's up front, not trying to cut down on Cole Williams and try to take his line away. So who knows what could be learned off of what Hobbs is doing versus what Cole Williams is doing. I mean, it's benefiting him for right now, but how will the tires wear for that number 89?
Trouble coming back. Eric Heater in the outside wall. Another car involved. I can't tell who that is quite yet. That's the 14 of Michael Kenner, and that'll be the 3rd caution of the night as Eric Heater, unfortunately, in some trouble here coming out of turn 2. And we'll get a look and see what brought out caution number 3 here in tonight's race.
Yeah, it looks like all happened off of that second corner. I did saw it off the corner of my eye, but Heater right up against the barrier, and Kenner took his line away. And it looks like Kenner just got loose.
And they got wall glued there. Carson barely missed that. And I think these 2 are the only 2 that suffered damage, but yeah, Heater tried to cross over, and the 14 just got loose up on the top, and unfortunately hooked the 28 right in front of him. And again, I think those 2 are the only ones getting damaged, but they were both running in the top 10, top 15, so that's going to relegate them further back. And for the first time tonight, our leaders hit pit road, as I think that's McKinney staying out in the 15, but everybody else down on the pit road for the first time tonight using their first of 5 available tire sets.
Yeah, no surprise to see everybody on pit road using their first tire set of the night. 3 drivers going to save themselves out. It's McKinney, Johnson, and Bianchini. First one on pit road was Cole Williams in the number 42. One driver just driving himself through. That's the 32 of James Young, and he did not hit pit road.
Cole first off pit road.
That's a fuel-only stop by Cole. So, either a two-tire call, but
Lyle lost a couple. I think Rosero was second or third off pit road. 42 and 9.37. That might have been a two-tire call.
yeah, it was either a two-tire call or B, fuel-only. But that's a risky gamble, especially in a 134-lap race. You don't want to really make some bold strategy calls until you're maybe halfway through the race, around that lap 67 mark. But Cole got to elect on with a different strategy rather other than 4 tires.
Yeah, I think it might be a tad premature to try something like that, but I mean, you're going for a championship. I mean, I guess. Well, I'll say this. I mean, you're down to 1 race, and you only have to beat 3 other drivers. I mean, I suppose what better time to try something than in a race like this? It's just so risky because, you know, it's obviously going to have a major upside if it works, but if it doesn't, you're going to be in a really tough spot for a good chunk of the race, depending on how long this next green run is.
Yeah, that's right. So currently, the 4 contenders run 4th, 7th, 19th, and DNF for Parker White in the number 095, going to be relegated in 35th spot. So
we're down to 3 as Kenner stopped on the track. I believe he may have received an EOL for that incident. So it's a similar deal to what we saw last night, unfortunately. Second night in a row where a title contender is out of the race before lap 30. So still over 100 laps to go, and already one of our championship 4 no longer in the running.
Similarly like what we saw yesterday with Miller, though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Parker is in the next week's tomorrow's championship. I think he is, so in terms of championship-wise, no, Parker is not. So,
yeah, he was eliminated last week, I believe.
Yeah, from the Xfinity Championship. It would be Cole.
I think Cole's in it, though.
Yeah, Cole is in it.
Cole, Chris, Hunter, and I think Malachi is the 4th one.
Yep, that's right.
So Malachi, despite not winning it last night, gets another shot tomorrow, just like Nick has another shot tonight. Just a bit of cruel, twisted irony that for the second night in a row that we got a driver out on, or out of contention this early, and the driver that was out the first time racing against the guy that was out the second time. So what a weird way that racing can work sometimes. But a couple cars staying out here: Blaise McKinney, Justin Johnson, and Michael Bianchini. They will lead us to the green, and then Cole and Mitch will round out the top 5. So we'll see what these top 3 can do here on the restart. McKinney hits the throttle pretty early, and we're back underway here on lap 27.
Hunter Johnson does not get going as Cole is going to split it 3 wide through the middle of Bianchini and Justin Johnson, as Blaise is going to elect to go up right up against the barrier already, and Mitch is already trying to plow himself through 4 wide off of 2.
Blaise is gone as Wiles going to approach this cautiously, I'm sure, even though he knows Cole is up there. But that 15 already setting sail by himself as the cars that stayed out get filtered back a little bit. Mitch gets a bit loose on the bottom. Michael gets a bit loose on the top, and they're going to have some trouble here out of turn 4. Hopefully they've all got... Oh, big crash! Hunter Johnson in some trouble. Lots of cars taken out. Kenner's hard on the wall. Thornton's hard on the wall. There are people all over the place on the front stretch, and this is a massive, massive wreck that'll bring up the 4th caution of the night, and hopefully there are no championship contenders in that, because that was huge.
Wow. Oh, man. I've never seen a wreck that big at Homestead, and there's Miller. Looks like he made it through, and that was in front of Christopher Weil. I mean, behind him. So we're going to get a replay of that, but in terms of wreck, oh my goodness, I have never seen a wreck that big at Homestead.
the track was blocked. But this started out of 4. Mitch got loose on the bottom. Michael got loose on the top. They collide. Mitch can't gather it up. There's Hunter. He ends up going hard on the wall. There's Thornton going across the track, getting body slammed by someone. Kenner, Bundren, Sartaj, AJ Bain getting it down to a stop. Malachi, Youngman, they get through. Bianchini, one of those that stayed out, he ends up collected in this. Yeah, Mitch just couldn't quite save it. And Hunter Rupp just got hooked at the last second. Poindexter gets damaged as well. And Wild missed that by mere feet. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that is the biggest wreck I've ever seen in Homestead. That was massive beyond belief.
Yeah, man. Oh, my goodness. They were drivers everywhere. Hard hit for Johnson right there. You see Bundren piling in. The 79 gets in it. Borges, no, he gets involved.
DeAndre got a piece, too. There's the 028, that blue and black car. He ended up getting clobbered by someone.
But yeah,
Rosero kept it going. Mitch, unfortunately, couldn't quite get it gathered up. Shuttlesworth also involved in that. There's Sartaj again. See who else. There's Kenner. He's destroyed.
49 of Sartaj is in there. So, yeah, I mean, that all just sort of transpired. Wow. It's not like one particular person's fault.
Yeah, they both got loose. Collided. Yeah, I think if Michael didn't get loose at the same time Mitch did, I think Mitch would have had enough room to gather it up. But the fact that they both got loose at the same time, it just created a deal where they ended up colliding, and the track just got absolutely blocked here. And at least 10 cars, as Nick wrote with a late wreck plow there into the back of Burgee, but at least 10 cars involved, and at least 5 of them are going to be out of the race, I'm sure. As you go on board here with Nick Miller, all of this transpired right in front of him, and we'll see how he got through this mess. Walking it down, getting it down into the paint on the bottom. There's Kenner just spitting right by him.
And look at all the smoke. This is something iRacing has implemented that's fairly new, and nowhere.
And Bundren tried to gather it up, but saw Nick moving and stopped. They almost hit each other as well. That was absolutely massive, though. Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, holy cow. That, I mean, you saw it off of Nick's onboard. As soon as they started wrecking, it was like 3 seconds until the whole track was blind. And here comes everybody just flying in, and Miller, yeah, that's right. He worked himself down to the apron.
Get it down to the paint and lock it down and just get it. Almost, I mean, I wouldn't say stop, but just go at almost a snail's pace. And, you know, even doing that, he almost got hit by Kenner. So, I mean, he did everything and it worked, but it was still that close to being over for him. So, man, it's been quite the eventful night so far.
Yeah,
and
that's right. And
a good amount of cars are out of that now.
In terms of wreck avoiding, everybody has their own way of avoiding wrecks. It's something you don't practice often because it happens only in a... Yeah, it's hard to practice. But one way I like practicing to avoid wrecks is through NR 2003. The AI start wrecking right in front of you. You slow it down or you try to gun for a hole and hope it works. And of course, you're racing AI, not people out on the racetrack. But once you get into the iRacing sim and online racing on NR, it sort of becomes like a different story or like some of a different scenario. But regardless, the AI sort of allows you to find holes and find places in which you could work yourself down and avoid some wrecks. And in Miller's case, he worked himself down to the bottom and out of harm's way.
Yeah, the AI are kind of unpredictable like, you know, real people are. I mean, there's definitely some, you know, similarities there. And, you know, speaking of NR 2003, stay tuned for some news on that. But, you know, for Nick, what he did worked, but for other people, it did not. But we'll get ourselves going once again after that colossal wreck we just had. McKinney, Williams, Johnson, Rosero, and Weil, top 5 for the restart. Hopefully, they don't wreck like that again.
themselves off the corner. All eyes on the 15 of Blaze McKinney. He's going to hit the throttle early. This is going to reel the inside line forward. And Christopher Weil is going to be on the scene as he's going to take it 3 wide into 1. Here comes Weil for the championship.
Wasting no time at all, going for that title right now. Still 100 laps to go. But we didn't really see Weil be this aggressive last night, but looks like maybe taking a bit of a different approach tonight. As for the first time tonight, we'll see a changing of the guard here in the title if Weil can complete this pass. And into 3. He has a bit of a run on the bottom, but Cole's going to have to take a run on the top out of 4. And still side by side, but nope, Weil clears right out of the turn. So Weil now back in the championship lead, but Cole's still right there, ready to get that spot back.
And this is the thing that worried me about taking a 2-tire call. Not only is Weil on 4 tires, everybody else, like those non-playoff drivers, are going to be all over that number 42 as well. So it should be interesting to see on how Cole is going to filter through all this mess right in front of him. But up front, though, for Blaze McKinney, he's trying to pull himself away, just staying out, but Weil is on him now.
Yeah, I think Cole might have been the only one that took 2, so I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how long he can make that last. As battle for 6th there in turn 1, Justin Johnson and AJ Bain. AJ and the 8 having a pretty solid run so far here tonight, as Malachi got a bit loose there out of turn 2 in front of him, and he'll complete that pass on Justin for P6. And look right behind these two, there's Nick Miller in the 95, restarted in 11th, already up to 8, now working on Justin for 7. 2 will clear out of 4, but that 95 definitely on a charge already. Already up 3 spots since we went back green, and trying again to get one away, and he will complete that pass. And it looks like Aaron Brown will follow suit and will also get by the 2, who I think is still on older tires from 2 yellows ago. So for right now, Weil still out front, as Cole has actually gotten by Blaze for 2nd. At 95, he's working his way up there.
So a championship contender, 1 and 2 as of right now. It's Miller and the number 95 currently residing in 7th place, and the 4th one, Parker White, currently out of it. So talking non-playoff drivers, for Blaze McKinney running part-time, Malachi full-time in the league.
Malachi's one to watch. Malachi goes for 3rd, but yeah, Malachi to me is the one to watch because he was in the Final 4 last night, and he's also in the Final 4 tomorrow night. Not in it tonight, but valuable experience he's picking up here in tonight's race. And you mentioned McKinney doesn't race here as often as he did before, but when he does, up there running towards the front, as he's been on that top 10 for the majority of the night. And here comes Miller working himself to the back bumper of AJ Bain. That'll be a battle for 6th once he gets there. Trying to recover from his heartbreaker last night in the truck race where he got taken out pretty early on. Having a nice run for himself so far.
AJ's done a nice job. He's been roaming that high side barrier this most of the time. He's still running it alongside with Blaze McKinney, and you see Aaron Brown also in pursuit, and Miller has been throwing it down there under that number 8, but just seems like he just can't pass him. So look at that, 3 wide right behind. Eric Heater gonna fleet it down low, and that's with Garrett Hess, as well as Benjamin A. White, our part-time Max Speed TV commentator in this mix, running a Brad Keselowski paint scheme. Working around Eric Heater in the 28, close racing off of 4.
Yeah, Benjamin doing a pretty good job so far, running up in P12 right now, as Justin trying to hold on to a top 10 spot right now, but on those older tires, I don't think he's going to be able to do that for much longer. As battle here, Nick has gotten by AJ, at least momentarily, but AJ's going to fight back on the bottom as they both try to catch Rosero and McKinney. So got 4 cars under a blanket. Aaron Brown not that far behind, so it'll be a pretty interesting battle to watch unfold here over the next couple of laps with these 5 all close together.
Miller works himself down under the number 23, Rosero. It's McKinney again on the older tires, going to sort of bottle up that high side. Miller gets a run off of 2. Can't clear the 23 off the corner, but regardless, enough to challenge to the low side. I think he'll get that position and maybe around the 15. So 2 for 1 for Miller as he now works himself into 4th.
Yeah, 2 for 1 there for the 95. 6th to 4th here. So he's got by all 4 of those guys he was just battling around. So our 3 remaining title contenders now, 1, 2, and 4. And that 2-tire call for Cole, it's keeping him in 2nd place, but you see the gap now between the 41 and the 42, now over 2 seconds. So those 2 extra fresh tires definitely making a difference here. But the track position, Cole hasn't lost a whole lot of it. He's just losing a lot of time to that 41. Nearing the... Yeah, it's...
I mean, I'm surprised he's kept himself in 2nd spot. And not only that, there's a big gap between himself and Miller. Not necessarily Malachi Drake. Crashing! Got crashed in turn number 1. William Schmidt is involved in this, and there's more drivers slowly starting to creep themselves into the mix, but I think Hunter Up a part of this mess as well. Darius Rezadadgar looks like he squeaks himself through, but for William Schmidt, who came in as a Final Four contender just yesterday, a junk day in the Cup Series is going to ruin his night.
And William and Hunter were both involved in that massive front stretch wreck, and they both found themselves in some trouble again. Battling around Justin Johnson, this is around 9th, 10th place. And, ooh, I don't know there. And back up the hill. Ooh. Oh, Benjamin got clipped and a big hit to the outside wall. Uric also got a piece of that. Let's see if Benjamin saved this and kept it out of the wall.
Oh, he scraped it. Yeah, but he did get clipped in the right rear, though, but regardless, nice job to keep it down, but I think this is just a case of drivers trying to choose their lines, but I mean, it looks like Schmidt came down, but Justin came up. It's hard to call.
They both kind of drifted at the same time and ended up meeting at their bumpers, and 79 gets turned across the 2's nose and just back up the hill, and nowhere for the 61 to go, nowhere for the 6 to go. You know, in a situation like that, when you've got a car going back up the hill, it is so hard to judge where they're going to go exactly when you're going to get there, and for Hunter Up and Uric ended up colliding right with his car. As 2nd pit stop of the night here, so this will give Cole an opportunity to slap 4 fresh tires on this time, unless maybe he opts to get the 2 that he didn't get the first time, as the back half of the field gets off.
And this is going to be an important pit stop for that number 41, looks like. Whoa, I'm not really sure who beat that was off of pit road. But regardless,
Malachi's first off pit road.
Malachi
beat them both off.
Yeah, Malachi beat them both off with a 14.1. Williams, I'm not sure where they're going to sort down the backstretch. And Miller was in the grass off of the pit road, but I think we're going to see a position swap here. Yep, Cole is going to let that number 41 by.
That was super close.
But yeah, that was an important pit stop, track position-wise, for that number 42. He had a chance. I mean, look at the pit stop times. We're going to pull it here in the bottom. 14.26 for Cole Williams, and I think it was a 14.67 for Christopher Weil. So, RNG just playing at its finest, and it nearly cost Christopher that position.
Looks like Aaron Brown in the 11 staying out on the racetrack, so barring a pit with 1 to go, he'll lead us back to the green. And looks like Roten will barely beat the pace car off pit road. So Weil still the title holder for the time being, albeit by a spot, and still with, 88 laps to go. But we'll see if he can stay there. But Miller, working in the distance, not that far behind these guys. He'd worked himself up into 4th at the time of the caution. And after the early race deal he had last night, that 95 was going to be all over everybody, trying to get up to the front as quickly as possible, try to make up for a lost opportunity in the truck race.
Yep, that's right. There's shenanigans here as 22 of Harrison Chandler in this mix. AJ Bain has had a nice run in that number 8 machine. Some non-playoff drivers we're going to talk about. Aaron Brown, he stays himself out, so he's going to lead his first laps of the night. It's Wow. Then after that, you got Malachi Drake again, Final Four contender just yesterday. Fortunate to him, he's not a Final Four contender here, but tomorrow he will be. Blaze McKinney has been loose multiple times, but number 15 has been running fine regardless. We got some new names inside this top 10 after that big wreck, of course, with that big shuffle. It's brought in Garrett Hess, Max Yerk, and James Youngman all into the picture.
And Yerk just got some damage from the incident that brought this caution up, but it looks like he's still going to be out there. Maybe not a lot of optional for him. But yeah, you mentioned AJ specifically. He's had a really strong run so far. And we mentioned a couple times how strong McKinney is up high, but can't seem to run the bottom that well. See what he does off the restart, starting on that bottom. But I think if I'm Cole, I'm a bit concerned here because, you know, that 11's on older tires. And the chances of him spinning them are much higher. So I think this could potentially cost Cole a bit of time off the restart, depending on how good of a start the 11 gets. But if he spins the tires, it's going to play into the 41's favor.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how this all play out. I mean, you know that number 11 is on old tires, so is he going to get a good launch? That's going to be the question. And if he doesn't get a good launch, will the 42 try to sling it 3 around that number 11? As here we go, pace car is in.
Green, green, green.
Aaron Brown already on the throttle, and they're going to be side by side for that second spot again. And championship standing is as Youngman pulls the block and Blaze McKinney. Into one they go. It looks like Cole Williams is on the bottom where he needs to be.
Yeah, Aaron got a much better start than I thought he was going to. And that's going to allow Cole to make a move on the bottom. And can't quite clear the 41. And he's going to split it 3 down the backstretch. 3 wide for the lead, in for the championship lead here into turn 3. And Weil will get by both of them before corner entry as Aaron hits the wall. A good daring move there by Weil nets him the championship and the race lead. We'll see if he can maintain it, though, over the rest of this race.
Oh man, that was important. So Weil now back up front, the 42, Cole Williams trying to gun around him for that position, but Weil holding strong for right now as these drivers are all over each other right in the background. But of course, with not a lot of drivers now left in the field, I think we're going to see some more spread out racing as we progress through the night. Weil holding strong, will run the top side in 3 and 4, and he's looking to pull away.
He'd opened up about a 2-second lead at the caution, but of course that was when Cole was on 2 tires as Aaron gets into the wall again out of turn 4. So we'll see if he can do that again, but I don't think he'll be able to pull out to as much of a lead now with him and Cole on the same tire strategy once again. Already up to about a half-second lead, though. I just don't know again if he can get out to where he was. As here comes Nick going for 3rd on Malachi Drake. So if he can complete this pass, we'll have the title contenders in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. But Miller's been kind of back there all night. Hasn't quite been up there with these other 2 for the majority of the night, and is just now getting up there for the first time tonight. We'll see if he can hang tough with them over this next run.
We'll have to see, though. All eyes are on this 41 of Weil as he pulls himself by half a second over the 42 of Cole Williams. Christopher running a different line than that number 42. Now he resides back to the bottom, so we'll see how this dirty air plays to this number 42's favor. If it's going to really hinder him in that second position. And he lost 2/10 off that corner. So while it seems as though they're both following in each other's tire tracks for right now. So what Cole has to do, he has to back up that corner. Hopefully he'll get a good launch off and keep it stable.
Yeah, I think he's losing a bit more time, though. Now down to about 0.8 of a second is that gap between those 2 contenders, as there's Heater rim riding the wall there in the middle of the turn. As you go on board here with him out of 4, see that front end damage he has, that was suffered in that earlier race incident with him and Michael Kenner, but has recovered pretty nicely now, sitting in the top 5, trying to catch that 95 right in front of him.
See how close he is off the wall, that number 28 is, but all up front, though, Mr. Weil is attempting to pull away. He's done so by a second, but who knows how cautions are going to play to or against his favor. All these drivers now are fairly fanned out, except for 11th spot. Aaron Brown, who stayed out last restart, is now under attack by a couple of Supreme machines. I mean, not Supreme machines. I forgot what AJ Bain's team is, but regardless, Benjamin A. White, I think he's on SPM, AJ on his own team, as Benjamin with a little bit of a slide job there off of the corner, works himself around the 11, and he's going to drag the 8 with him.
Yeah, this is 11th, 12th, and 13th, and Aaron on those older tires doesn't really stand a chance there to try to hold off those positions. AJ gets a bit loose there out of 4, but he'll retain that spot over the 11 regardless. Aaron now back at a 13th after restarting in the lead, and now Chris's lead over Cole now upwards of a second.
Fight here for 14th place. James Young and Corey Long going to go at it. Corey's going to file back into line. Corey's had a nice run so far. Summer 93 is DNF'd multiple races this season, unfortunately, but now his best finish and his best shot to win a race was at Michigan on, I think it was round number 2 or round number 3, but he got really close there before he got wrecked off at the final corner. So Corey just trying to finish off the season with a good note.
Yeah, he's had some pretty strong runs this season, but you mentioned it, also had some pretty bad luck in some races. We'll see. Running 15th right now, trying to get 14th away from, actually 13th away from Youngman. But we'll see if he can end this season off on a high note as Heater gets the wall there out of 4 as McKinney gets by Rosero for P6.
Sarah and McKinney were both dead sideways off of that corner, and McKinney has been rim riding that high side this whole entire time. We'll have to see on how it'll play to his advantage. I know he won the Bundren Championship just a few weeks ago, but that was before the build. So, of course, tackling a new set of circumstances here tonight. Now right against that barrier, trying to get as much as he can. He works now on 28 of Eric Heater. So, McKinney trying to work himself back into victory lane yet again.
Wild's lead now up to about 1.4 seconds, so the longer this run goes, the more that lead increases. But just as I say that, the caution is out. AJ Bain and Benjamin White's good runs have both taken a turn for the worse. Harrison Chandler, the 22, also involved. And
Benjamin might be mad at AJ.
Yeah, I don't think Benjamin's too thrilled with that 8 car, and the 8 looks like he got a worse exchange on it than the 27, though. We're going to look at it regardless and see who brought this up. But I think that smoke is coming from the 22, but yeah, Benjamin not too happy. Let's see what happened here down the front stretch. Looks like AJ just got the wall. And we just mentioned the bad luck for Corey Long, and he's also involved in this. And looks like AJ has got the wall out of 4 and came down and hooked the 93. And nowhere for the 27 to go. Youngman barely misses that. And, Chandler nowhere to go. Yeah, AJ slapped the wall right there and ended up clipping. Yeah, and there's Benjamin showing his displeasure with the 8. But tough break there for all 3 of those guys.
Got in the wall right in the middle of the straightaway. It's not necessarily he got loose or anything like that. I just followed the car up into the wall, and unfortunately, the 93 just nowhere to go. I mean, we talked about his luck and involved in another one, so big reset button here, and wow! So all 3 contenders stay out, but the back half of the field and all non-playoff drivers hit pit road. So we're gonna have a bit of a split strategy here in lap number 60. So with now 75 laps to go, it's gonna be a one-stop race from this point forward for all these drivers on pit road. Man, that's going to be interesting, seeing how it'll all turn out for these drivers who did hit pit road and how they're going to shuffle through, because they're going to be starting, looks like, as high as 7th spot. Malachi Drake, the first one off of pit road, off of that exchange. Darius Reda Dadgar, second off, and you have McKinney as well. So,
So definitely an interesting strategy here, and these 3 contenders will be joined by Heater, Aaron Rosero, and Aaron Brown again. I'm surprised the 11 stayed out again after staying out the previous caution. Got cycled back to around 15th. Looks like he'll be staying out again here. So those 6 will lead us to the green.
Miller? No.
And
I was about to say, Miller made a late turn on a pit road. He'd be shuffled all the way to the back, so
maybe some mind games going on here. Maybe trying drag one down with him or something, but
Yeah, I mean, whatever to throw your competitors off. And I'm very surprised.
do
So
that,
one of those 3 playoff drivers did not go on a pit road and follow that train on in. I find that a bit surprising because in Miller's case, he hasn't been the fastest car all day. So who knows? Come on a pit road and take some tires. He'll be starting inside the top 10 regardless. And all you have to do is just pass the 41 and 42 and get himself up forward. So,
well, we saw it last night, and we're seeing it again tonight. I think they're maybe seeing that a lot of the wrecks that we're seeing tonight are originating around midfield or so, and that maybe they're a bit concerned that if they end up pitting, that they'll restart around midfield, and they don't want to be caught up in anything that happens back there. So that could be what it is. Or maybe, for Cole and Nick, it was just deciding to do what Weil did. But, when you're trying to beat Weil for the championship, I think it's interesting that they would opt to do the same thing he did. But for the first time tonight, they'll be 1, 2, 3 off a restart. So that means as soon as this thing goes green, they'll all be racing with each other. And I would assume with different runs and stuff going on, this championship will probably change hands a couple times over these next couple laps.
So, Weil, Cole, Nick, all top 5. The person with the freshest tires is going to be Darius Reza in the 06. But I'm very surprised. I mean, actually, Dadgar, he only elected, looks like a 2-tire call, or maybe just fuel only. So, track position call for him. So that means Blaze McKinney in the number 15 is going to be the first person on fresh tires. So, curious to see on how it'll all turn out for that number 15, who's been one of the fastest this whole entire race. He's been rim riding and ripping up that high side. So, oh man. How will these non-playoff drivers fight with these top 3? We're about to find out as we're going to take the green on lap number 63 out of 134. Now working toward halfway. Glad you could tune us here live on XB TV. Round number 20 going to go into the books here just soon. As well, hits the throttle. He's going to drag Miller with him. They're side by side for a second. That's all the 41 needs to see.
And 41 clears easy as they go 3 wide with Aaron Brown, who stayed on older tires for the second restart in a row. So they'll probably get by him pretty easily here, as they're still 3 wide out of 2. McKinney will clear the 11. 23 is yet to do so, but Miller has gotten by the 42 per second. So for the first time tonight, Cole is now 3rd in the championship, and now he's going to lose 3rd to McKinney and maybe 4th to Heater. So the 42 didn't quite have the best of restarts, and he's going to drop a couple spots here. And for the lead, Miller gunning for the championship lead here on Christopher Weil in the 41.
And McKinney's coming. I mean, he's flying with those fresh tires, so he's going to be a factor into this. Miller looks like he's going to get a run off the corner, but here comes McKinney. He's going to push. No, going to take it 3 through the middle. If I were these playoff drivers, I'd let him go. Just get yourself out of harm's way, and here comes McKinney to the lead. And how will it affect this number 41 and 95? Seems as though no effect. They're still side by side for the championship.
And Weil with the run out of 4, he'll have it at the line, but man, that 15 is flying right now. And it wouldn't surprise me if he just pulls away from the field at this point. He's a man on a mission right now as he tries to pick up that $10 purse for taking the win tonight. Trouble out of 2. 1 car goes around down on the bottom. I'm not sure who that was. Looks like it's the 6 of Max Zurich. He's had a couple incidents tonight. We're going to stay green, though. And out of 4, McKinney's lead now on the rest of the field up to about half a second, as Cole now under attack from Justin Johnson for 4th.
Yeah, now Cole, Justin's on fresh tires as well. He's going to work himself, whip up to the high side. What a move by Justin. And Weil's going to elect the high side in turns 1 and 2. Can it get him a run down the back straightaway? Looks like it can. But Miller's going to do all he can and maybe side draft at 41 and reel him back in. This 2 of Justin Johnson's not letting go of Cole Williams, and still side by side. Might make it a 3 or 4-way battle as Justin gets loose off the corner. Miller clears for that spot, and new championship contender is sitting on the throne, but Weil with the crossover down to the bottom.
Yeah, Weil had a really good run out of turn 4, but Nick came up right in front of him, and Weil flung it down to the bottom and decided to pull a crossover. As speaking of crossovers, Cole had cleared Justin, but Justin pulled 1-2 and got 4th back from the 42. And into 3, Nick will clear Weil going into corner entry, and look at Justin making that high side work. We'll see if he can get by the 41 perhaps over these next couple laps. But for the first time tonight, Nick has this championship lead, but no breathing room whatsoever with the 41 and the 42 still right there.
Yeah, and this too, again, Justin Johnson's going to play a factor into this. He's a man on fresh tires too, so he's going to be sticking with all these drivers as well. Whips it down to the bottom. He might be letting the 2 go, so that's all news to that number 95 of Miller. They're side by side right behind. Wild's trying to fight this 2 though and get himself in front. Maybe get around for that position, but looks like it's not going to happen. Justin's going to get a run off the corner. So with Justin playing a factor and still side by side for this 3rd spot, it's going to allow Miller to pull away.
Yeah, this is really interesting because it looks like Nick is really pressing it, but I think the 41 and the 42 might be letting these non-chasers by a little bit. Because it's interesting with these non-chasers now that are on fresher tires working their way through the field, but all 3 of these title contenders stayed out on that previous caution, and they're all on the same tires, so it definitely makes this interesting. As Justin has not been able to clear Weil yet for 3rd, but I think he finally is going to do it here. And indeed, Weil will file in behind that 2, so now move Justin up into an impressive P3.
And this is a thing I thought about pitting with fresh tires. Like, you're gonna have to one-stop it regardless, even if you do stay out. So, of course, more advantages to flinging it on the pit road and having at it for that spot, as Justin's going to work on Miller for 2nd spot. Justin easily by this number 95, and they're still side by side right behind as Cole tries to take the spot away from that 41. And here comes another driver with fresh tires. That's the number 90, Malachi Drake.
So Weil drops 2 spots there back to 6th, and Cole gets by him for 5th. So Weil now back to 3rd in this championship running order, as Miller still sitting comfortably right now in 3rd with about a second between him and Cole Williams. So just a bit of breathing room for right now, but again, all 3 of them on older tires, and all 3 of them will have to make another pit stop before this race is over. And actually, everybody in the field still does, with 63 to go. But we'll see if we have differing strategies towards the end, like we do right now.
Okay, so, man, it seems as though dirty air, like those drivers mentioned pre-race, it's really affecting their cars. I mean, once Weil got behind a driver, he cannot pass this number 41 of Cole Williams. And here comes Bachman. Bachman out of nowhere inside this top 10. He's going to work himself around the 41.
And the 84 on fresh tires, too. I think he got a top 10 last week. I forget which series it was in. But he had a top 10 run in somewhere last week, so trying to go 2 for 2 in that department here tonight at Homestead. Doing a good job so far, getting by the 41 now for P6. So Weil loses another spot on those older tires. And speaking of losing spots, Miller drops 1 to the 90 of Malachi Drake. So 95 now back to 3rd, or actually 4th, but it's still in this championship lead.
Yeah. I'm curious to... This just rolls back to my previous question. Why did you stay out? If you had the opportunity to hit pit road like there, A, you're going to be good to one-stop it. B, you're going to be on fresh tires as well. I mean, look at McKinney. He's pulled ahead by 1.3 seconds to Justin Johnson. I mean, both of them flying up against the barrier, but regardless, it's worked out for them track position-wise, and it's brought themselves in 1-2 for right now, as you see Bachman try to gun around here for this 5th spot around Cole Williams. But, in terms of championship-wise, all the drivers are on the same strategy. So, how's it going to work for them once, I mean, regardless of how it's going to work out for them, they're still on the same strategy no matter what.
Yeah, and if this thing goes green all the way to the end, what'll be really interesting and what could end up making the difference is going to be when these guys decide to come down pit road, because you just mentioned they're all in the same strategy, but you know, when it comes to that final pit stop, they might not all pit on the same lap. Maybe one pits, you know, at a certain time. Maybe one decides to pit 2 laps after. Maybe one pits 10 laps after. And I think that could be the big difference in who wins this title if this thing goes green for the rest of the way.
Yeah, we'll just have to see, though. Battle here for second. Malachi Drake has worked himself to the backside of Justin Johnson for this spot. But in terms of championship-wise, all eyes are on this number 95 of Miller. I mean, he's the 4th and final driver to pick up the championship lead. Have to see on how it'll all go. Still, looks like 26 drivers in the session as of right now. The scheduled, I mean, not scheduled, but, I mean, he registered 36. You see Bachman still trying to gun around for this position as Weil is now under pressure. Looks like it's Corey Long. He's a lap down.
Yeah, Corey was involved in that incident with AJ and Benjamin White, so down a couple laps now for him, unfortunately. As Garrett Hess now up into P8. I don't know if he's on fresher tires or not, but 91 having a quietly good night now in the back half of this top 10, and with him on presumably fresher tires, he'll probably catch this 41 pretty soon, as McKinney now up to 2 seconds over that 90 of Malachi, who's now gotten by Justin for that spot. And there you see the difference in stints. About 14, 15 laps between those title contenders and those that pit on the previous caution.
This fight for second ain't over. Number 2, Justin Johnson now cut off by the 90 of Malachi Drake. Justin had a nice shot getting to the inside, but looks like it's not going to work to avail. And you see the 95 and the 42, and Bachman's still not letting the 42 go just yet. Again, Bachman has the right to race out in the racetrack. He's on fresh tires trying to gain as much track position as he can, but just can't manage to pass around the 95 and 42 for right now. But championship-wise, all benefits for Miller, but this caution's going to play some things. Got a wreck somewhere, and looks like it's Aaron Brown. So
Aaron stayed out on older tires 2 cautions in a row, and I think it might have finally done him in here. One of those that was eliminated last week at Indy. And looks like he did the exact same thing that AJ did, where he just hit the wall down the straightaway and bounced down into another car. The innocent bystander here, Henry Clapper, the 34. Clapper kept it going, but Aaron ends up looping it. And there you go. You see the front end damage now to the 11 after that wall contact, and fling it down to the gravel trying to get it going again. So that'll put us back into yellow again, and that was probably a much needed yellow for our title contenders who've been on 35 lap old tires now. And now, and see, now I think it's going to be where we see some strategy come out to play. We've got 53 to go at the line. The estimated fuel window is 52 to 57. So based off of that, they're barely good to the end. But if that fuel window is a bit overestimated like it was last night, could we see a situation where maybe the winner of the championship ends up being who could save the most gas?
oh my. Played out for Malachi Drake in the 90 last time that happened. But an important pit stop here, track position-wise. Miller's going to work himself on a pit road. And you see Weil right in front of him, as well as Cole Williams. So all eyes on Miller. Nailed down this pit stop. Looks like it's going to be a 13. Oh, that's a 14-second pit stop. That looked to be bad. Cole going to drop it down with. Oh, close off a pit road. Miller's going to beat it, though. I thought a 14-second pit stop was pretty bad. I mean, Miller got a pretty bad pit stop, 14.8. Cole hit a 14.6.
Justin was ahead of all three title contenders, and he ended up off of pit road behind them all, and only a 0.2 second pit stop. I think he might have missed his stall.
Yeah, he might have missed a stall, or something must have happened there, but... Ooh, in terms of that... Blaze McKinney is going to be up top. So we got Miller in second, and Malachi's going to sandwich. Malachi is going to be in a playoff sandwich for right now, so. Wild's going to be starting right behind this number 95. Of course, Wild is going to do whatever he can to get by this number 90 for that championship contender, 95 of Nick Miller. So, you mentioned that fuel window. It's going to be close, but I think with this caution, it's going to put us down under 50 to go. So I think it's going to be a sprint from this point forward.
Well, an interesting development here that isn't really race related, but apparently the battery in Chris's VR headset is low, and the battery might die before the race is over.
Oh my gosh.
That is one of the absolutely wackiest problems you can have, but boy would it suck if your championship gets ended because the battery in your VR headset dies.
Yeah, that's right, so.
For Chris, he wants to go green now for the rest of the way because, I mean, if your concern now is how low your battery is on something, you absolutely cannot have any of these laps run under caution. You need this to go green all the way now, because if that headset goes, your title hopes go right with it, so.
And yeah, so looking at ATVO right now, Wild's going to have 29 minutes to sort of tinker around with. Not including cautions. So he needs this thing to go 29 minutes clean.
But will that battery even last 29 minutes?
Does that battery last 29 minutes? A, I'm not sure what kind of VR set he's using. B, I just don't know what Wild's situation is. It's a personal problem that we can't really get in-depth information with. So just hardware issues, I guess.
And apparently it's plugged into his computer too, so it's just not feeding enough power into it. But
yeah, you gotta turn off your headset, or
per Carson, because Carson, of course, in the call with him right now. But apparently, according to Carson, if the VR headset does go on Chris's computer, he said he will probably turn it to the left as quickly as possible and slam on the brakes to avoid getting in any trouble and getting out of harm's way. So, I mean, that is just, of all the ways for a championship run to end, that is certainly one of the strangest, but also one of the most heartbreaking, where something totally out of your control like that could end up being the difference. So for Chris, he needs this thing to go green the rest of the way, regardless of strategy.
Green flag.
And
green
now
flag.
that we're back green, we'll see if it stays that way from here on out. 50 laps to go at the line to determine a champion.
Work themselves into one. McKinney clears for that top spot. He's going to use the high side to his advantage as Miller tries to fend off the 42. 3 wide as Cole is going to try to fling it down low, but Malachi's not letting go as Wild falls in pursuit. Miller up against the barrier. He might attack the wall. 3 wide still.
Miller keeps it going, though, but now he's under attack from Cole here into 3 as the 42 tries to take that championship lead back from the 95, but can't quite do it.
McKinney got
right
loose.
Now. Yeah, McKinney cannot run the bottom at all. And speaking of loose, Justin just got really loose back there, as does Aaron. But we've seen it all night. That 15 can rip the top like nobody's business. But once he goes down to the bottom, he gets loose over and over again. And now he's in a situation where if he wants to hold on to the lead, he might need to go down there to defend position. But he has to be careful because we've seen how loose he is. Hopefully he doesn't spin while trying to fend off that lead.
Well, he just got taken 3 wide down the back straightaway. Going to lose 2 spots to Malachi and Eric Heater as Racero also sneaks into the mix. So wow, slowly starting to fade as we transition into the night. And now with Cole Williams in the second spot, right in front of Miller. Another championship lead swap. And Malachi also waiting in the distance, but Miller's following Cole in line. I'd try that high side if I was Miller. Do whatever you can to get that much momentum and put it on the straightaways. And Malachi's coming. And Wild's still 3 wide.
Rosero and Heater there, as Wild will clear them both into turn 3. So he'll fend off for 5th right now, as Nick gets a bit squirrely out of turn 4, still within reaching distance of the 42, as McKinney now back up top once again, and starting to open up that lead again as well.
Oh, Cole, man, he looked tight. Drake is just running that high side. He closed the gap between himself and Miller. You know how high, I mean, you know how beneficial that high side is. And if that was Miller, I want to run up there. Wherever the contenders don't is where you want to be. Try whatever you can to get around this number 42. And Cole scrapes the wall, and here comes Miller. He's going to rim ride the high side. Is it going to be enough, though?
On board here with the 95 out of 2. Still out front is that 42, despite that little wall contact, is trying to reel him in, but well, he is a little bit. He's that now back to the back bumper once again. We've mentioned Dirty Air so many times tonight. He could probably get there, but can he get enough of a run to try to send it in on the bottom and maybe get that pass to work?
And what Cole has to do, I mean, you're taking Miller's line away, but that time Cole tried to fake Miller up high. This time it's not going to work to his advantage, so what line will they choose coming into 3? They chose bottom in both 1 and 2. Cole, right up against the wall. He just about scraped it on in. And they're still following each other in line. Miller's slowly starting to lose ground, and that's just effective Dirty Air. And if I was Miller, fling it up high in 1 and 2. Try something. Malachi goes upstairs.
I mean, the thing is how long do you want to wait to try something, though? Because at this point, if you're Miller, you'd be trying something with 43 to go, and that is still a lot of the race left. So just because it works now doesn't mean it's going to work and keep you up there for the rest of the race. But you don't want to wait too long where they end up pulling away from you before you can really get anything to work. So, I mean, it's an interesting game that Nick has to play right now, where you don't want to wait too long, but you don't want to do it too soon either.
I mean, it's not necessarily that Miller's losing some time to the 42. Miller's still staying even with him, but as the run progresses, those tires are going to wear, and Miller's going to try high in 3 and 4. I don't think he was really up. Oh, he lost a ton of time that time. Yeah, it didn't work out for him in 3 and 4, but here he goes. He's going to try high 1 and 2. But Malachi's not letting go. I mean, he's there. Miller not right up against the wall. You need to be right up against the wall to make that high side work. Get that arrow effect and get that push off the corner, what you need. And if you're not good in 3 and 4, just use bottom in 3 and 4 and compensate in 1 and 2 with that high side. And wall around with Malachi. So, now championship contenders 2, 3, and 4.
Good move there for a while, but again, that lingering issue we were just talking about under the previous caution of all of a sudden, Chris is in a race. Not only is Chris in a race against the 2 title contenders, Chris is also in a race against time. Because again, that battery in his VR headset, you don't know when that thing's going to go out. So I mean, he could end up in first, and then the headset just goes on the final lap. So I mean, it really is a race against time. And again, he needs this thing to go green for the rest of the way. Can't have anything happen, any more caution laps or anything like that. But for him, hopefully, it makes it to the end, so this can stay a 3-car battle.
McKinney works around the slow 6 of Maxier, now gonna clog up the high side. Cole Williams has snuck himself to the back side of this number 15. Who knows what Cole is gonna do with his number 15. He could do all he can and maybe get him for that $10 as well, but now lap traffic playing a factor. Miller is gonna get slowed in by the 6. The Urich was off the corner in a bad angle that Miller couldn't really out-track the corner, so Wild's gonna have a shot to get around this number 95.
I don't know if we'll get by him, but the gap definitely closed for sure. As Malachi gets a bit loose working around the 6, but gets by him here out of 2. As Cole will get by the 32 of James Youngman. And Cole has also caught our race leader, Blaze McKinney. That gap was about a second. Now it is just about a 10th or 2. As that, I think that Schmidt on the bottom, he'll move out of the way as Miller gets by Youngman. So Cole has been able to reel in the 15, and again, he's already in the championship lead, but McKinney's in the wall. So Cole trying to go for $110 now instead of just 100.
Yeah, McKinney's going to do all he can. He doesn't have He wants to keep himself up front for those $10, and well, he has nothing to lose if he does wreck it, but for Cole, if he does wreck, a championship down the drain as well as $100. As McKinney gets sideways, who knows? McKinney and Cole might start fighting it out and reel in Miller in the process. So once they do go side by side, which is now, what will 95 and 41 do?
See, this is really, really fascinating to me because, you know, Cole is already in the championship lead, but it's like, how far do you want to push it? Because if he ends up, you know, using up his tires now, trying to get this lead away from Blaze, that could potentially create a scenario where maybe Nick and Wow have a bit of extra tires left in the tank to try to catch that 42. I mean, he looks like he got by the 15 pretty easily, but I find it really interesting that he gunned for the lead that easily. But he's got it for now. 35 to go next time by, but that 95 and the 41 are not far behind.
And if you're McKinney, you know you want to gun for those $10, but respect to the playoff drivers. So it seems as though he didn't really want to interfere with that battle, and he might have let the 42 go. So now Miller's going to sneak up to the backside of this number 15. Seems as though, oh my, he snagged the wall. Credit card swiped it on the front.
Looks like Cole just did too.
Kenny, look how high he is. Oh, he might be in
Bit
the
too
wall.
high. And there's Miller.
Yeah, he's there. So
now running in second. Trying to get second away, rather. But if these two run side by side for a couple laps, that'll allow Cole to pull for a bit. But I think Blaze just might be a bit too tight down the middle of the corner. And Nick will pull a slaughter on him out of four, and Blaze flings it down to the bottom, trying to get that spot back. Good move there for the 15. Will net him that spot back. We'll see if he gets loose in the bottom again. And he really drives it in there, trying to get it back up to the top, and then Nick will fling it right back down to the bottom again. So this is just to Cole's benefit now, because if these two keep trading positions like this, Cole can just sail right away, as that gap between him and those two, now almost a second, and this is going to allow Wow to pull into this battle as well.
oh, looks like the 42 caught a bit of lap traffic as Blaze tags the wall off the corner.
Ooh, man, that was a bit too close for comfort. But Miller finally gets second away, and it looks like Wow won't be too far behind. And I think that 15's tires are just falling off at this point, as they go 3 wide around the slower car.
Yeah, it's Jack
Both
DeAndrea.
side by side. You know, Weil needs to clear the 15 as quickly as possible so he doesn't lose too much ground to these top two, and it looks like he will now. So 1, 2, 3 are our championship contenders here with just about 30 to go. I mean, I honestly didn't expect it was going to come out like this. I didn't think a non-chaser, or I didn't think a chaser was going to win the race, but I guess I might be wrong today. We'll see how these last 30-ish laps go, but for right now, it's looking like it might be 1, 2, 3 for the race and for the title.
We'll have to see, though. While still staying strong. Hasn't picked up any wins this season. For the 42, he too is winless. What a way for him to pick up a win here in the final race of the season. Not only that, but pick up a championship as well. And $110 to add onto the books.
He won the Xfinity race at Watkins Glen and the truck race that I want to say was Auto Club, but hasn't won here in the Cup Series yet. But currently 30 laps away from doing so, and also winning the title. We'll see if he can hold on. Runs about a second ahead of Miller right now, and about a second and a half ahead of Weil. So looking good for him so far, but again, can he hold it there? He's going to catch Clapper at a bad time here, and that'll slow him up just a little bit. But with that 1 second lead, allows him a bit of wiggle room if anything like that happens again.
Miller still following in pursuit. Dirty air really playing a factor. Clapper going to get out of the way of the 95. And that gap still under a second. Miller needs to find something. Some type of speed.
Weil too.
And Weil as well. But for Weil, he's battling two races. One right now and one to beat the clock to get.
Yeah, one with his headset.
That's right.
I mean, it could come down to a deal where Wild could get by both of them, and then the headset just dies on him, and it ends up being all for nothing. I mean, again, I hope that doesn't happen, but it's within the realm of possibility now. So, I mean, the 41 definitely in a unique situation, as he's really battling two different races. And apparently he just said the battery is now very low, and his screen is probably going to go dark soon.
Oh, no.
So it sounds like it's not going to make it to the end. So in that case, it looks like we're going to be down to a two-car battle here between Williams and Miller. And we'll see how much longer that battery lasts. But from the way it sounds, it looks like it's not going to make it to the end of this race. And that's just absolutely heartbreaking for Chris. I mean, thankfully for him, he already won the truck championship last night, but you know, I mean, that doesn't mean, you know, you don't want to win another one. That's, again, one of the strangest ways to be taken out of contention, but it always stinks that something like that that's out of your control ends up being what does you in. 26 to go at the line. Cole still up by about a second on the 95. Wow, now about 2.5 seconds back, but again, just a matter at this point of how long that headset lasts. But it ain't looking good right now. So 2 of our 4 contenders are going to end up out of contention from 2 really weird things. You know, Parker ended up spinning on a lap 1 incident, and they get a headset dying before the end of the race. So pretty strange circumstances here tonight as Williams puts the 19 at Trey. Another lap down.
Williams is catching a lot of lap traffic. I mean, look ahead of him. There's all sorts of modified machines right in front of this number 42. So the gap now less than a second again. It's still fluctuating around a second for right now. Wild gonna try the high side. It's a second and 6/10. The gap between Miller and Weil, but
got to win the race between who, or got to get an additional payout to who ends up winning the modified division here tonight, because there's a lot of them out there. Gap is pretty stagnant right now, still hovering around 1.1.
And if a caution comes out, what Wild could do, take off that headset, race it on the screen. If the VR headset, I mean, it's going to be hard to adjust for that number 41 if he has to transition from the headset to the screen mid-race.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, a caution maybe could benefit the 41. I mean, we thought it could benefit him for it to go green to the end, but, you know, I mean, he would probably have to pit to do this, and it would cost him track position. So, I mean, there's no real good way out of this. But if a caution were to come out, it would at least give him the opportunity to maybe unplug it and try to go on off the screen for the rest of the way. But if it goes green to the end, I mean, the only other option is just to pull off track and get out of harm's way and effectively take yourself out of any chance to win. So at this point, I think a caution might be in his favor now.
Gap still fluctuating. 1.2 now is the gap between Miller and Williams. They mentioned it. Clean air means a lot. From for Miller. Seems as though being trapped behind the 42 might have sealed him in. We've yet to see a caution for these past 30 laps. They go green all the way. That's going to be the question. Glenn Bunger, the next one to get lapped. Going to keep 13 cars on the lead lap after this, after Bunger gets lapped. After that, you have to run to Darius Rizadadgar, the 06, who's all the way in turns 3 and 4.
Bunger, one of those involved in the incident.
Oh, I jinxed it! And it's Weil!
Yep, battery's gone. The battery has died on Chris's headset. And the caution is out, so I think...
It was for Weil.
Yeah, I think by him slamming... I mean, obviously the best course of action there is to get out of the harm's way and just slam on the brakes. I mean, I don't blame him at all for doing that, because he's out of everybody's way. he's not going to hit anybody. Yeah, I mean, he did the right thing. I mean, that shouldn't be a caution, but that should not be a caution at all. I mean, I don't know why the service throws cautions for stuff like that.
It was on the road course. That's probably why.
But, yeah, the headset has expired, or the battery has expired now on the 41. So now for him, he needs to get that thing plugged in, get his screen up and running, and get back out there as quick as possible.
But he
before
towed
these
it,
leaders
though.
come around.
Yeah, he towed it, though, so that might have sealed it. If he could have made it around, maybe, and flung it on the pit road. But now
I think it died right up.
Yeah.
I think he died after he hit pit road. And speaking of pit road, here comes everybody. Cole and Nick both make their way in.
And this is important. This is the money stop. 20 laps to go. Miller and Cole hold the top 2 spots. It's whoever comes off the pit road first is probably going to be in championship winning condition. RNG going to play at its finest.
Yeah, you cannot mess up now. And there's Chris still sitting on pit road, so...
Cole entered really slowly. Miller nailed it down.
Oh, man.
It's going to be close.
Absolute heartbreaker for Chris, though. Oh, man. I mean, you knew it was a possibility. And
14.7.
And off of pit road...
14.3.
And Cole's off first, then Blaze, then Nick. So the 15 splits these two.
Blaze got a blazing fast pit stop, no pun intended, but...
And now, Weil, by virtue of that tow, on pit road still, and is also now a lap down, and not in free pass position if a yellow were to come out again. So it's not looking good for him at this point. Actually, he's 2 laps down now, so at this point, he's pretty much out of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, man.
So it's all come down to this: a 2-horse race between Miller and Cole. Oh my. So Miller's going to be starting in 3rd. Or, yeah, there's a lot of lap traffic between this. So Miller's going to be starting on the rear end of Cole. Unless Cole wants to elect the high side. If I were Cole, I'd elect the high side. Have Blaze sort of as a pick to Miller off the green rather than dragging Miller with you, because that's just an open opportunity for Miller to fling it down to the bottom and make something happen off of it. Late race restart with 20 laps to go. Oh my.
And then there were 2.
That's right.
So again, McKinney was off of pit road before Nick was, so Nick will line up behind Cole for the restart unless Cole elects for the high side.
While saying he couldn't alt F4 because his keyboard's not even near him.
I mean, when you're racing VR, I mean...
Yeah, where is the keyboard?
You really need it. Just a tough break all around. And we'll see where he is on track. He's 3 laps down now. He might still be on pit road. That must have been that must be a really long tow then. No. Unless he's not even going to be... Unless he's not even going to go back out there. I'm honestly not. But...
Yeah.
1 to go regardless. While now 4 down, so...
And Cole's going to elect the high side. Oh, man. This is what I expected.
That's a really smart move, actually. Because this is twofold. A, it puts Nick behind McKinney, who's obviously not going to have control for the restart. And we've seen plenty of times this race, McKinney has not been that great on the bottom. The 15 is much better up top. So this puts McKinney on the line that he's not as good at while running. And of course, by virtue as well, by putting Nick behind him, that means he's going to be put behind the guy that doesn't run the bottom as well. So, a big opportunity here. If Cole can nail down this restart and it goes green all the way, that might seal the deal.
What a way for Cole to win the race and the championship. Cole, again, has yet to win an iSCAR Cup Series race. Will become the first driver to win an all top 3 series. I mean, the second, alongside of Hunter Johnson if he can. Pace car is in. Cole hits the throttle.
Green flag.
And Miller He has to take it to the bottom.
And looks like he didn't pass before the line, so perfectly legal move there for the 95. Doesn't really have a choice, though. He needs to get to that 42 as quick as possible before he sets sail. But here comes McKinney on that dominant high side again. And so if him and the 95 run side by side for a bit, that's exactly what Cole wants to see. But I think Nick's best bet here might be for the 15 to get by both of them. Because if that happens, then it opens up the door for Nick to battle with him once again. But looks like they're running about equal, and this is playing right in Nicole's favor right now.
If I were Miller, I'd let McKinney go. Hopefully McKinney has a mindset of winning this race, and hopefully McKinney can close the gap between himself and Cole, but McKinney sideways.
Whoa! Oh, and that's going to get Nick a bit loose, too. They both got loose, and Nick's is a bit reactionary to Blaze's, and that's going to allow Cole to open up a bigger lead on both of them, and it also brings Michael Rosero and Malachi Drake into this battle. So that was not what Nick wanted at all.
Oh, he's on the wall.
The wall out of 4, and Rosero's going to fling it down to the bottom as well as Malachi. 3 wide into turn 1. Nick's going to lose 2 more spots, and he's now back into 5th. And I'm not going to say that's it, but it's looking that way right now.
Miller's just doing all he can now. He's going to fling it down to the bottom, and that has to be so frustrating for Miller.
Made one mistake all race, and
it's going to cost him. Regardless, he's going to finish second in the championship standings. They're still 3 wide for the spot.
Yeah, the one mistake he made all race, he does it when there really isn't enough time to recover from it, but...
Oh, he cut down on the 2, and the 95 is going to spin!
And he's going to save it, but that's...
No, he won't! He overcorrects!
And now he's up into the outside
wall.
Oh,
that's it!
A huge hit from David Bachman. The caution is out. He gets hit again, hard by another car. Bachman gets slammed by Clappert. And that is going to be it, folks. Nick Miller's car severely damaged after being clobbered twice down the backstretch after that contact from Justin Johnson. And now at lap 122, and then there was one. Cole Williams, the only Final Four contender left in the running. And so now if Nick retires from the race, that will officially seal it. Cole Williams looks like will be your Cup Series champion.
And that has to be a breath of... Oh my goodness,
no.
What is Heater doing? Heater just ran into the backside of Rosero.
Yeah, ran into him under caution.
But yeah, that for Cole Williams, that's a breath of fresh air. I mean,
and Rosero
sigh of relief right there as Rosero is pissed off at Heater for rightful reasons. And
they're going to follow each other on pit road. They may not be done with each other yet, but while those two sort out their differences, we're going to look and see what happened here to bring up that yellow. But Miller had gotten the wall the lap before this, and I think into 1, Justin got into the back of the 95. And he was trying to hold on for the entire corner. And you see that car's destroyed. That thing's done for. Yeah, I think the 2 got into the back of him. We'll get another look here into 1. Oh, Nick came down a bit, though.
Oh, I don't know, that looked close.
That was close. Tried to drift it and overcorrects it into the outside wall. And there's Bachman, just clears him out. And then here comes Clappert, or...
That's DeAndrea,
actually. And there's Clappert just going full speed into David Bachman. I don't even think he slowed down at all. An absolute lead foot move here by Henry Clappert. Just boom! Right into Bachman.
And poor Bachman was having a good run too.
Yeah, he was, and man, he got absolutely clobbered by the 34. And it didn't look like Clappert slowed down at all right there. He just whoosh right into the 84. So all 3 of those cars going to be out of it here, and we'll see if Nick can even get back out on the racetrack. I don't know if he can with how much damage there was. And now with 10 to go, Weil is 10 laps down now, so he's officially out of it now mathematically. Cannot make those laps up within 10 laps, and so he's officially done now. And Miller already 2 laps down, and that car is severely destroyed. So for all intents and purposes, this championship's over.
Yeah, that's right, but in terms of win-wise, McKinney wants to go one position higher and gun for that top spot. And I don't think I've ever seen a Final Four in which 3 contenders get wrecked out like that. That's probably one of the first. First times I've seen that.
Well, yeah, well, one was a headset battery, but...
Yeah, I mean
it's not very often you see a Final Four of attrition like this.
Yeah, that's right, and for Eel Media Racing, $100. GG's.
And you know what? At this point, Cole has nothing to lose. The other 3 title contenders are out of it. He doesn't have anything else to worry about. And now at this point, Cole can just gun for the win at this point and try to get the extra $10. So
yeah, you might as well gun for the win.
I mean, screw it. Why not? You got nothing to lose at this point. You've got the championship locked up now. Because the 95 is just destroyed. He might go 3 laps down, but he may not even be back out onto the racetrack by the time this thing's over. So, I mean, this championship was like 97 or like 99.7% locked up for Cole. So at this point, why not gun for the win? Just an extra $10 at this point. I mean, the 3 guys you had to worry about aren't in the picture anymore. The biggest hurdle has been cleared. So now will we see Cole the race winner in addition to Cole the champion? And if he does so, he'll join a very short list of drivers that will have won in all 3 series this season.
Yeah, that's right. So Cole has yet to win in the Cup Series. This is his chance, and doing it in the final race of the season would be one heck of a feature. So here we go. 9 laps to go. Everybody right behind him has nothing to lose. What can Malachi Drake and Blaze McKinney do with his top spot? About to take the green.
Go. iSCAR will get itself down onto pit road. Cole will lead us back to the green with the championship pretty much locked up. But time to see who will win the race as well. 8 laps to go here at Homestead, and he will clear easily into turn 1.
McKinney doesn't look like with the high side into 1 and 2. Cole all bottom through. Now McKinney flings it up there, trying to get as much momentum as he goes.
Look at that car go.
Oh, he got sideways that time. As well as Aaron!
Aaron Brown is going to hold on to it. There's Miller on the bottom.
Miller's just doing all he can.
Absolute potato car down there, just trying to limp it to the finish at this point. But already multiple laps down.
And he goes around!
Aaron's around again, and he saved it again somehow.
And look at these runs by the drivers right behind. Darius Reza Dadgar into the top 5. Corey Wong also in the picture. Oh, he gets loose!
Uh-oh, Corey, hold on to it. Oh, he's going to hold on to it, but he's going to drop a couple spots. Good save, though, for the 93. Cole still leads this race right now. About 3/10 up of McKinney. There's the 15, though. Back up to the high side again. And we keep seeing him get loose over and over again on the bottom. Now up in that comfort zone once again up on the top. Can he get by our champion here in these next 6 laps?
Who knows? McKinney's going to fling it up there. 6 laps to go, trying to do all he can to close the gap between himself and
Look at
Cole
Justin
Williams, as Justin Johnson has rounded himself into 3rd somehow. But the fight for 4th is about to go on. Eric Heater in this picture as well, as here comes Restero. Darius going to elect the high side. He got tight.
3 wide. Look at Heater trying to split the middle, but he got a bit loose there on corner exit. 5 to go at the line. Just 5 laps separate Cole Williams from a championship and a race win as you go on board here with the 15 of Blaze McKinney. Gets loose again out of the turn. He's running out of time to try to get there.
Who knows?
Cole
might see another caution.
Right, the way this race has gone, it would not surprise me if we did. But where they run right... Oh, and Corey's going to save it again. Goes down into the paint, but he'll lose some more time.
4 laps to go.
And also, if a caution does come out at this point, Cole will have control for the restart, so he'll have the advantage again. But has about an 8/10 lead right now over McKinney, who's run the top as good as anybody else has tonight. But that bottom is just kryptonite for him. He cannot run down there at all. 3 to go.
Cole has led 48 laps, now 49 as he crosses the start-finish line. The gap between himself and McKinney, 0.8.
He's doing everything he can, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. He's still losing some time, now about 9/10. And he's in the wall
Snags the
again,
wall.
so that's going to cost him a bit more. Man, look at that 2-car in 3rd place on raw speed. That is really impressive for Justin Johnson to wrap up his season. 2 to go here at Homestead. Battle for 4th. Mazzaro and Drake going at it here. Malachi in the final 4 last night and tomorrow. See what he can do in tomorrow night's race.
Works himself into 3 and 4. He smells it. He smells blood in the water. He knows the 3 other contenders are gone. All he has to do is just make 1 more lap. And not only that, he'll win the race as well as the championship. White flag for Cole Williams. 1 more lap to go here at Homestead.
Parker White involved in a lap 1 incident, out of contention early. Christopher Wiles' headset died on him with about 25 to go. And Nick Miller involved in that big wreck with about 15 laps to go. And the last man standing is the 42 of Cole Williams. And as he makes his way out of turn 4, for the first time this season, Cole Williams will be a race winner in the Cup Series. He takes the win at Homestead and wins the Season 4 RaceLab Cup Series Championship.
And for Cole Williams, that's a good old GG! Cole Williams wins $100 here. Actually, $110 because he picked up the race win. Cole Williams comes out up top. And that has to be so satisfying.
Season 2 Cup Series. Whoops. I got the seasons totally mixed up. This is Season 2 Championship, but regardless, ran an absolutely perfect race, picks up the win, and picks up the title. Might have been a little bit on attrition, but even with that attrition, he was far and away, I think, the best car out on the racetrack all night tonight. And a job well done to that 42 as he gets his first ever iSCAR championship. And he'll burn it down here on the front stretch after 134 laps. What a race. What a season. I mean, we really... You know, Cole wasn't one of those, I guess, that a lot of people really paid attention to. Like, when you think of iSCAR, you don't really think of Cole, but I think that's definitely going to change now as he has put his name on the map here and takes the W here. And he'll do a double burnout here with Glenn Bundren. But a job well done for Cole. Unofficial results here after the final Cup race of the season. Cole Williams, your winner and your champion. Blaze McKinney with a nice run for him in 2nd. Justin Johnson, a phenomenal job by him, finishes in 3rd. Michael Rosario and Eric Heater round out your top 5. Malachi Drake, he'll be in the final 4 again tomorrow. Garrett Hess, Darius Reza-Dadgar, Corey Long, and Aaron Brown. Great runs for all 4 of those guys.
Max Urich rounds himself out 11. Glenn Bundren on the lead lap as well as 12. James Youngman in 13th position. After that, Miller, our 2nd Final 4 contender, going to be rounding himself out in 14th. Bachman, Shuttlesworth, Clapper, DeAndre, and Roten round out 15th through 19th. And after that, you got Christopher Weil, our next Final 4 contender, all the way back in 20th.
Oh, that darn headset. William Schmidt, 21st here tonight. Harrison Chandler, 22nd. Michael Bianchini, Benjamin White, AJ Bain, top 25. Joe Burgee, Hunter Rupp, Carson Poindexter, Sertaj Mann, and Mitch Hobbs for the 2nd night in a row had a top 5 car on speed and does not finish where he probably should have tonight. Last handful of cars out on the grid here tonight. Zachary Thornton, Hunter Johnson, Michael Kenner, Luca Faro, Parker White after that last lap incident took him out of contention very early, and Andy McDowell rounds out your 36-car grid here for tonight's finale race. The show is not over, though. We'll be back here in just a couple of moments. We'll interview the top 3, including your champion, Cole Williams. So stay tuned as we get his view on how his race went tonight.
Rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this .625-mile racetrack. And just as the field comes all around turn number 4, the sunshine peeks through, helping warm things here. Bill Elliott leads him down. Benny Parsons on the outside. The green flag flies, and the first Union 400 Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead, and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison. Oh, here we go. It's just about to go away. They bump coming out of turn 4. Earnhardt gets the lead. We had just heard from our spotters that Neil Lyons. Dale Earnhardt is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win. Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
And we welcome everybody back here live at the iSCAR RaceLab's Cup Series Round 20, as well as the Season 2 Cup Series Championship has finally gone into the record books here tonight. And what a way for Cole Williams to pick up his first and only victory in the Cup Series, as well as the Cup Series title here tonight. And interesting way for it to all go down, because Cole, the next contender, has to be scrolled all the way back down to around, I think, 14th place of Nick Miller. So I want to say it was easier said than done for Cole, because Cole still had to fight out Miller and Weil for that top spot. But regardless, man, what a job, what a victory for him in that number 42.
An unreal performance here tonight. Again, ran an absolutely flawless race, and of course the attrition helped, but I mean, again, even if all 4 of those guys were in contention the whole night, he was still one of the cars to beat throughout the night, and I don't think you could have run a better race than he did. And enough from us. We'll get him in here, and we'll see what he has to say about his first ever iSCAR title. And what a better, no better time to win your first ever Cup race than, the title race that you're in contention in. So we'll see what he has to say about his great run tonight.
And for Cole Williams, for the biggest iSCAR payout of $100 plus the 10 for winning the championship. For winning the race here for tonight. Cole, my goodness, man, you started yourself in second, but as the lap started to wind forward, you started to see playoff contenders drop. Parker White was the first of them. Then it was Weil. Then it was Miller. It was all for you, man. That number 42. You did pick up wins this whole entire season, but when it came to when it mattered the most, here you are sitting in victory lane, man. Cole, my goodness, man. Congratulations. First words.
It's unreal, man. You start the season off, and it was like, in the middle of October, and, coming to the first iSCAR season, and, you just dream of, doing this well and getting to the Final Four, and you get all the way there, and you work, and you improve, and you just have a great group of people around you, and you just meet a lot of good friends and everything on through the iSCAR, and it's just wonderful to be able to compete in something like this and get all the way here to the Final Four in the first place. It was just so much fun racing these guys. Chris, I know Parker got taken out basically first lap, unfortunately. Obviously, I wish everyone could have survived. We could have had an awesome battle. Obviously, that long green run. it looked like maybe Nick was going to be able to catch me. Who knows? Obviously, Nakasha came out when Chris's VR disconnected, and that really sucks for him. All those guys deserve to be up there just as much as someone like me did. And it's just this is the start of the season. I was literally out of the picture for the playoffs even at the start, and you just progress so much, and it's just been awesome to do this entire season, and to be here in the Final Four, and then to be able to take home the championship is awesome. I just want to say thank you to everyone that is thanking me and congratulating me. It definitely hits deep, and I just thank all you guys, man. It's awesome. Thanks you for broadcasting all season. It's just a lot of celebration, a lot of thank yous for everyone that tunes in and supports and watches every race, and competed with me. Everyone who competed in the season, thanks for coming out. It was really fun racing everyone in the season and just racing hard. You're able to race toe to toe with some of the best on here, and it's awesome to do that every single time, every single weekend and week out. And it's awesome, man. Not even just the money. It's just being able to improve from being a mid pack to back of the pack driver, unknown, low I rating, and to gain and get better at this. This is I've been doing this since like early 2017 on a desk and like a bench, and it was, it's awesome to feel the progression to be able to take this home. We still got a job to do tomorrow, and we'll have to get that done too. But I mean, hopefully we can have another great battle there. And then obviously I felt like I really got better in the iSCAR over the season, and you're able to show it here today with the long run speed we had at the end. And just never give up, man. It's never ever give up.
That's right, Cole. And you round yourself up top for your first ever Cup Series win, as well as your first ever Cup Series title here tonight. Talking race-wise, before we interviewed you pre-race, you mentioned Dirty Air was a huge thing, and it seems as though it was played into effect. Whoever one of the 4 championship cars were up front, seems as though they could hold it there for a while. Describe to me on how you held down and just took away lines from the drivers right behind you.
Yeah, man. Ever since the last season update, Dirty Air's been really bad in this car, and it really took a lot of tire saving as well as track position to get it done. I knew that we needed to pass Miller there on the restart to try to secure that Dirty Air, like you said. And then I knew Blaze was running the top and pulling away that much was likely going to burn up his stuff, and that's what happened. We were able to run him back down and race him hard and take the lead. The Dirty Air kind of hurt me in the first part of tire saving. I felt like I was maybe burning him up a little bit, which I definitely cannot be doing. So I kind of cooled him down a little bit and then passed Blaze, of course, after he got a little loose. And then obviously it just helped that they battled a little bit. That pulled out. That was an extra like 4/10. Then from there, we just needed to manage the gap. You kind of blocked the lane, but also I think the first seam was the best lane to run all season, or not all season, all race long. And I felt like ever really for many seasons in iRacing, and I felt like the top worked only if you're right behind someone. So I mean, if you're in the clean air, you might as well just take the best line. Hopefully, save your tires a little bit, and that's what we were able to do. And then towards the end of the run, we were starting to pull back away, and we knew at some point we were going to be able to just get to the white flag. That's where I wanted to get to, because I would like to stay green, and then obviously Chris had his problem, and then nothing that he could do about that. He said, I think before the restart, that his battery was already running low. So he figured that likely wasn't going to get to the checkered flag, and he, unfortunately was not. And he's been a great competitor all season. We're going to compete against him and all those guys in the B-Car series as well. So I just showed the second half of the race is where we kicked it on. Like I said in my pre-race thing, we needed to qualify well. Qualified second, took the lead. And then on the first caution, I accidentally took 2 tires. I thought I had left sides checked. I had it unchecked because I was planning to come in and top off on fuel. And I changed that last second. So when the caution came out, I rechecked everything because I was just checking through and make sure I had everything checked. Learned that the hard way in another league. And I had, I felt like I hit all the boxes, but obviously I didn't hit the left sides for some reason. I wasn't paying attention. I was too locked in on doing calculations and stuff. And took right sides, and then Chris and everyone just pulled away by like 3 seconds and was getting ran down. And I was like, if this goes green, it's going to be a problem. But obviously we got the cautions in. That helped. So we were able to get back on sequence, and from there we were able to tire save and get our track position. So just it's a great racing to everyone. Everyone who finished, of course, came out to compete for the last race of the season.
All right, but 10-4, Cole Williams rounds himself up top of the board here for tonight for his first ever iSCAR Series Cup Series win, as well as his first ever iSCAR Cup Series title. Cole, before we let you go, any sponsors you want to thank here for this whole entire season?
Yeah, man. Just want to thank everyone here at iSCAR. It's been really fun to just show up and get one season in, and obviously just run, and everyone who was able to race throughout the season. Everyone who competed in the Final Four, Barker White, of course, Chris and Nick. They're always great for people to race against. Great people, of course. So unfortunately, all of them basically had problems by 20 to go, which kind of sucked. But shout out to them. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting all season once again. And everything that you do to put this on. It's just super fun to do, especially when we get those long green runs like you're able to and drive to the lead. Thanks to You'll Media Racing, Nebula Esports, and all those guys back there, and everyone who congratulated me, and everyone who watched tonight. Thanks to just everyone who watched tonight. Pella Gaming's used some diecast and stuff that might have been the Pella Gaming one of their last races. I'm happy to bring home another championship for them. Obviously a Cup Series race one too, so that's awesome. And then thanks to all my friends and family that watched tonight. That's that means a lot to me. And hopefully we'll get the back-to-back and get 2 out of the 3 tomorrow. And yeah.
All right, about 10-4, Cole Williams rounded himself out about top. We'll go ahead and see you coming tomorrow, and good luck for the Final Four there.
Thank you, man.
Go ahead and scoot ourselves back one spot. That's right. That's totally right. And we'll go ahead and drag in the number 15 of Blaze McKinney into the booth. Dude, we'll take this one away.
Hey, Blaze, got a copy?
I got you. I got you.
You were really, really fast all night. You were ripping the top better than anybody else out there, but you seemed to have a bit of trouble with the bottom. You kept getting loose down there. So I guess the car was kind of twofold, but how'd you think it was?
It was a handful for sure. I had absolutely zero practice coming into this. I have not ran a mile and a half since they updated the whole track model and everything, so I was pretty much blind coming into this. So I was pretty loose. I mean, early in the race, I was really loose because I pretty much was just learning the track as it went on, and then late in the race, I was still just pretty loose. I just relied on the wall there most of the race, just running right up against it and using the wall to just kind of guide me around. But the bottom was just too loose for me. I couldn't figure it out. So I just had to try to see how fast I could get on the wall, and it paid off for a while. I got out front there for a while and then just burned off my tires. I just hadn't had enough practice to get the tire saving right. So it was a fun race. I'm really happy that I had enough speed to run up front. I was really hoping to get that first win tonight, but that was really close. But it's all right. Congrats to Cole, by the way. He did a great job tonight. I'm really happy he got the win.
Yeah, second, nothing to be ashamed of, especially on your first race since the new build. Before we go tonight, any sponsors or people you want to thank here for your run?
And of course, Grayson and everybody at Flying Arrows, Chris Lee Designs for these beautiful paint schemes, Rowdy Energy, Bunge Lawn Care, you guys for putting on the broadcast, and of course, everybody puts on this league every week. I'm going to miss it. I really had fun racing it every single week, or not every single week, but whenever I did, it was just a ton of fun. So thank you guys for always putting the league on, and it was a ton of fun.
All right, Blaze McKinney, runner-up tonight here at Homestead. Hope to see you back here around the block pretty soon.
Thank you.
We'll scroll back one more position to the number 2 of Justin Johnson, and what an underground run for this number 2 machine of Justin Johnson. Started himself all the way in the back in 33rd place, slowly crawled himself forward, was at highest in 2nd place, but Justin, seems as though the strategy played to your favor and you round yourself out 3rd here tonight. Congratulations, bud. First words.
You know what? That race was great. I was having so much fun. I'm glad that I had such a good race. And, I just got to shout out Peter and Max. They helped me a lot during that race. And, the strategy, it just worked out perfectly for me. And I'm glad that I finished 3rd.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned how the strategy played to your favor. It seemed as though fresher tires, you just flew through those playoff drivers and got yourself up front. But couldn't catch Blaze McKinney. What did you have to do to catch Blaze as well as Cole Williams?
I really just felt like I just killed my tires too much. I was running the bottom at the end there, just trying to get as many spots as I could. But I just really don't think I could have catch him. But, congrats, Cole. Congrats, Blaze. But I did the best I could.
And that resulted in a third place finish, your best here in iSCAR, man. Congratulations, Justin, rounding yourself out third after starting yourself all the way back in that 33rd spot. But before we let you go, any sponsors want to thank you for tonight?
I got to thank Thomas Cassidy. He designed this car. And I got to thank Elijah Gorman. He designed some of my other cars, too. So I'm just glad to have them on the car.
All right, about 10 for Justin Johnson. And that number 2 rounds himself out in third. We'll go ahead and see you coming around block, man.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it. That's right.
We are 2/3 of the way through our finale weekend. Congratulations once again to Cole Williams on winning the championship. I mean, again, there was a bit of attrition, but again, that car was so fast all night. Made it through all the trouble that occurred, all those different wrecks and everything that happened, and comes out on top. A rightful and well-deserved champion here tonight at Homestead. We've got one more, though. We got one more championship race here tomorrow. The final iSCAR event. It'll come down to Cole Williams again, Christopher Weil again, Malachi Drake, and Hunter Johnson. Those will be your 4 going after the Nice Design Series Championship. So for Cole and Chris, they're trying to go, and actually Hunter won the Super Late Championship. So 3 of those final 4 are going for their second championship in a week. So it's going to be a really fun night, and hope you guys all turn out as we wrap up iSCAR and transition into a new period. So for Ezeckiel Reyes, I am Dewey Schramm, and as we always say, thanks for watching.